Hey everyone, the Talking Dads podcast is brought to you by Little Scholars Early Learning Center. Whether your family needs infant care, a preschool program, or before and after school care, Little Scholars' highly rated Step Up to Quality programs provide quality early childhood education at an affordable price. Visit www.littlescholars.net to get in contact with an enrollment specialist and schedule a tour of any of their 5 Lake County campuses. Here's the deal. Talking Dads fans are getting a little bonus. Mention that you heard about them through our podcast, and when you tour, and you'll receive $25 off of your registration fee. Again, that's Little Scholars Early Learning Center, where children learn, play, and grow together. We are also brought to you by Pub Fredo Gastropub. Pub Fredo was voted Best Gastropub in Cleveland in 2019 by Cleveland Magazine Silver Spoon Awards. We love Pub Fredo. Their menu is chef-inspired, always pushing the limits of traditional pub fare. The other night I had a burger, I believe it was called the Pub Burger. It was incredible. Cooked perfectly. It was amazing. And you won't have a problem pairing your favorite item on the menu with their great selection of local craft beers, crafted cocktails, and of course, an amazing bourbon and whiskey selection. I went with the Bullet 10-year with my Pub Burger. All of this in a cozy, fun, come-as-you-are atmosphere. You can check them out at pubfredo.com and on Facebook and Instagram at PubFredo Gastropub. Hey, what's up, podcast? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Talking Dads. This week we have a fantastic guest. Our buddy John Zinnicker came in studio to talk with us. We talked going bald. We talked baseball stuff. We talked about freaking Chuck's lawn. And then, of course, we went through some dad hacks and some really cool proud dad moments. All in all, it was an awesome episode. We had a really good time with it. Make sure you subscribed and you tell your friends about it, and then have a wonderful weekend. Love you.
In a world where moms continue to dominate parenting authority and a father's role is minimized in society, 2 dads take on the toughest parenting topics on a weekly basis, all while drinking bourbon. They are the Talking Dads.
All right, guys.
Z, what's up, man?
What's happening?
Oh, not much. Just actually got back from Youngstown. I'm a little bit tired.
Oh.
What the hell are you doing in Youngstown?
My brother lives down there.
Oh, really?
We went and visited him.
Nice.
Okay.
I've been on vacation all week, so.
Oh, have you?
Oh, fun.
Oh, yeah. Staycation.
Staycation.
Right.
No, there's not
Well,
much.
there's no such thing as vacation. We were,
Yeah.
what was I doing? I was at a meeting. Shoot, I can't remember what it was for. Oh, it was with our for the house.
Oh, okay.
And the lady we were talking to was like, yeah, here's all my information, and just in case like you're on vacation, I'm like, lady, vacation? What are you talking about? It's 2020. There's no vacations.
There's no vacations.
Oh, yeah.
There's no vacations.
Because I could take the time off work and then have to take another 2 weeks off or however long you have to quarantine. I don't even know.
Right.
I don't know if
Another 2 weeks, I
Yeah.
think. Or I think they dropped it down to 10 days.
Yeah.
which is still 2 weeks of
Right. Yeah.
work.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much. But
Ugh.
yeah.
So
anyway,
before
here we
actually
are.
get started, here we are, beautiful collab by Notion, downtown Willoughby.
sir.
John, what we always do is we have our guests kind of give a quick, 30 to 60 second dad profile. So who you are, what you do, what makes you a dad.
Well, wow. Who I am, what I do, and what makes me a dad. Well, I'm John Zinnicker. I have 3 kids, actually. I have a 7-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a just about to be a 9-month-old, which is interesting with the age difference. But with them being so close, it's still
Yeah.
it's a pretty cool thing. But I do work with juveniles, and so I'm never really getting away from kids.
Yeah.
It seems like so.
Yeah,
I know the feeling.
yeah, it's true. Yeah, for you
Yeah,
too.
right. That's awesome. So Steve from
Softball.
softball,
Yes, sir.
baseball world.
When I first met Johnny, so he had the slick back, long hair when I first met this guy.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was beautiful.
Sounds amazing.
Long flowing hair.
Mm-hmm.
It was nice.
And it started going away, so I was done.
Yeah.
It does
that
happen.
is.
It does happen.
It. You want to hear the story of why I shaved it?
Yeah.
Yes, now I do.
Okay. Well, so I've always told my wife, if I'm going bald, I'm done. It's out. I'm not doing this anymore, right? And so I always knew I had this little thing going on in the back. Last couple summers, it'd get sunburned. You're like, oh man, I'm getting a little thin back there. So one day I'm sitting on the floor watching TV, and my son, I believe it was my son or my daughter, goes, Daddy, you're going bald.
Wow.
And I go, oh yeah? And he goes, yeah, right there. And he traced it. And I go, all right, sounds good. And I just went in the bathroom, boom,
That was it right there.
It was done.
Wow.
And so
That's all it takes.
The power railers are getting a little deep, and I had the thing going on back here, so I was just done with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Easy to maintain this way, though.
Yeah.
I mean, how often do you have to shave it?
I do it like every 2 or 3 days.
Okay.
But it's like if you wear a hat, I don't know if you ever experienced this, but if you wear a hat, it's like Velcro, so trying to take it off.
I do remember that.
Down. It's the only
That's the only thing
draw.
that's bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I used to shave when I was in the Marine Corps, I used to shave my head.
Yeah.
Just because it was, well, basically, I was not responsible enough to make sure I was sober enough on the weekends to get the regulation haircut before Monday morning formation.
Just shave.
So eventually, I just started shaving my head.
See, I only did the buzz cut. I never did the razor.
So a buzz cut isn't regulation. Like you can't just like take it
Down to like a
'cause
one or like
it
a
has
no
to
guard.
be faded.
Oh.
So like you couldn't just have like a one all the way around.
It had to be
I mean,
completely shaved.
by regulation, it really depends on who was in charge of you and how big of a D they were going to be.
Yeah.
But most of them were pretty big Ds. So, I mean, I
listening?
actually got in trouble one time because it was generally accepted that a completely bald head was fine. But I actually got in trouble one time because, I mean, I did something else to get in trouble.
Yeah, let's not blame it on the hair.
On top of, they were like, well, there's no fade in your hair either. I'm like,
Oh,
Threw it
way
in
to
there.
pile it on.
kidding me? What do you want
Yeah.
me to do? You know? But hey,
Hey, well, that's what happens, man.
yeah.
See, it's funny though with the kids too. Back to what you were saying about how your son or daughter came up to you and were like, "Oh, you're going bald, Dad." Like they really don't mix words. They just
Oh, no.
brutal honesty.
No, and they'll tell me if I got a pimple going
Oh,
or
yeah.
a booger in my nose.
Like, oh, Dad, what's that?
Come
it's
on.
like, oh,
Give me a break.
My daughter tells
break,
me all
man.
the time. We've been moving this week, and so after work, I've been taking a truckload of stuff or whatever, whether it's to storage or things like that. And I get home, and then my daughter always wants me to put her to bed. She goes, "I want to snuggle." I'm like, oh, "All right, fine." And I enjoy it. It's
yeah.
hilarious to me because Chelsea gets so mad. She's like, "Can I put you to bed, Solony?" She's like, "No, I want Daddy." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it
hell
while
yeah,
I can get it."
exactly.
But this week, I've been moving, and then I get back. Oh, that's one.
I fell down.
There's a counter.
Oh yeah.
That's
By the way, so
one.
you have to stand up. You have to stand up all the
So-
way.
Wow.
Yeah,
then
it's
fell
a
down.
pain.
I fell down.
It happens to everybody. Watch
What's
those
the
calves.
record? 4 or 5?
It's like 6.
6? Oh,
Who was
geez.
it? Biff?
No, I think it was Don.
Oh man. Yeah, that happens a lot.
Yeah,
Usually
so-
happens to Ian the most, but he's starting to get better finally.
Right. I start
It's the calves.
60-something episodes in. I finally
Because
figured
you
it
get your
out.
leg up and you hit that
Yeah.
little switch right there, and then.
I was like, what the heck's going on? The floor's raising. But it was me
I'm
going
not drunk. I
down.
said a
Only had
sip.
like one sip.
What is this?
But no, so we'll do our bedtime routine. We get in our jammies, and then we're in the chair, and we kind of rock, and we read stories. And the other day, she goes, "Daddy, you stink." Like, I've been freaking working. What do you want from me?
Yeah. Yeah, Sam
yeah,
told me.
they are
Sam,
brutally
yeah, they
honest.
are. Like Sam told me the one day I was reading him a book. He goes, "Oh, he's like, you smell." He's like, "Stop." He's like, "Stop breathing." I'm like, "Jeez." He goes, "Oh, light a candle." I'm like,
Tic Tac.
seriously, man. I'm like, all right, you know what? No more stories for you. I'm going to bed.
You should have been like, you know what? I wiped your ass so many times.
Yeah.
You don't get to say that.
Yeah,
Right.
you not gonna tell
You
me.
want to talk about smelling.
Yeah,
Right.
I've seen some shit, literally.
Yeah, literally. Oh man.
So go.
Go ahead. Three kids.
That's
what you were gonna say.
I was gonna say it.
Synced.
All day.
3 of them.
3 of them.
Three of them.
And if science is telling me correctly, we're done. Yeah.
Excellent.
All right. Well, I
Good
wish,
for you.
science has been telling me that we're done at 2, but my wife really wants a 3rd, so I guess I'm heading in that direction for 3, and I don't know how I'm gonna do. I know, Ian. Don't
not heading in that
just stop rubbing it in. This guy. So yeah, I think we're going for 3. I think.
Three's a new beast, man. It really was. And 2 got a little bit easy, I think, because they started getting older.
Exactly.
Started walking on their own. You can let them go down the street a little bit and not have to worry too much.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, boom, third one comes.
Baby.
And yeah, blessing, but it made it from 1 to 2 was to me was a little bit easier than 2 to 3. Do you know?
You're the first person that's ever said that.
It's usually, I feel like it's always
everyone's always like.
You think it's on the show? I feel like it's always white, like women. That
Well,
are
I
like,
guess that's true. Maybe it's not. I
like,
shouldn't say
like
on the
you
show.
know what? From 2 to 3, it's not bad. It's like
Right.
really, I feel like it's going to be terrible.
No, it was again. You got more eyes on different
Yeah.
things. You know.
Well,
what
you're
I mean? So,
outnumbered.
yeah, absolutely, and they know that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like
you
I'm
know that.
already outnumbered.
Yes, 100%. Can't keep up with these kids.
Yeah.
I need something. I don't know. I need to get more active because I'm exhausted from the kids. I can't keep up with them. They're all over the place.
Yeah.
I told a story earlier. I was telling my dad actually. We were at a friend's birthday, their son's birthday party. Was that last weekend?
Yeah.
And I think it was like a 5-minute, maybe it
You were
probably was
going
less.
hard.
But I was running around. I was having all the kids were chasing me. I'm juking them. You know, I had some good moves going. I felt pretty good about myself. But all of a sudden, I'm out of breath. I feel like I'm gonna pass out. So I'm like, I'm gonna take a break. But I picked up Ian's daughter and I spun her around in a circle like 3 times. And all of them were like, "Ooh, I want to go next." I'm like, "Oh my god."
I told you it was
I'm
a
like-
bad move.
I'm
I
like,
yelled
what?
at you. I'm like, bad
Don't-
move,
I know.
Steve.
And sure enough, I had all 6 of them. I had to do all of them. I was so dizzy. I thought I was gonna puke everywhere. I was sweating my ass off. I'm like, dude, I can't do this.
Yeah. It's tough.
It's pretty rough.
Yeah, my wife, and she was working today, so I went down to my brother's house by myself with the 3 kids, and he's got a pool, right? He's got a nice pool. He lives in a nice neighborhood, nice in-ground pool. First time I was down there, so I got my youngest daughter, Nessa, in my arms, and I'm carrying her around the pool. The kids are walking around, diving off the side of the pool, and all I'm doing is walking around, put her in this floaty, walking around, took her out to get her to eat, picked her back up, walking around. By the time I got in the car, I was like, geez, I felt like I ran a marathon.
Dude,
And all I did was hold her.
That it wears you out, man. Especially when you're by yourself, because you're just constantly looking around. Even if they're fine, you know, you're constantly looking around, and they're like, "Hey, Dad, watch this," whatever, and it's
sure.
all fun. But the heat, and then just being in the
Exhausting, man.
pool.
It's
I've done it a
exhausting.
couple times this summer with both kids, just by myself, and you know, I got floaties and stuff like that to help me out, but. Because my buddy has a pool, and he's like, yeah, and anytime you want to come over and use it, that's fine. I'm like, okay, cool, I'll take you up on that. And yeah, it's no joke. It's no joke.
Yeah.
Like 2 hours in the pool, and I'm like,
Yeah, man. I'm really not feeling any better about having a 3rd child just after this conversation. So,
it'll be great.
yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I know. You're right. Yeah, it'll be awesome, right, guys? Thanks.
Listen,
I feel
man,
really good about it.
It's really rewarding. It really is. But you know, like I said, it's a lot of work. And for me as a guy, I'm saying it was harder. I can't imagine for the ladies.
Yeah, for sure.
They all seem to say it's easier.
I know. Every woman I talk to, they're always like, "Oh,
You're right,
2 to
though.
3."
You're right, though. I think it is more women that say 3
Because they're the
is
ones that are always
easier.
like, "Yeah, you guys should definitely have 3 because it's so much easier. It's easier to go from 2 to 3 than 1 to 2." And I'm like, "No, there's no chance. It doesn't make any sense."
They're sucking you in, man.
I know they are. They're all on the same team.
I feel like that's
they're all against me.
50% of the time or 60% of the time.
It
works every time.
It doesn't make any sense. I mean, so my youngest, Ben, is very elusive. Like, he is always just slipping away. He'll be right next to me, and the next thing I know, he's gone. I have no idea where the hell he went. I can't imagine if I have to hold a baby, watch where the hell he is, and then Sam, too. Sam's pretty good, but Ben is just, the kid's everywhere. I can't trust the kid. And
He's
just,
a wild card, for sure.
that's probably the best way to put it. He's a wild card. He's just...
I mean, you got to give
Pain.
the kid some credit, though. He was locked up for, what,
2 months.
2
to start-
months?
yeah.
Yeah, to
And-
start his life, and he's making up for lost time now, man. He's hilarious to me.
the looks he gives me, well, any of us,
Yeah.
just the raised eyebrows, pissed off look. If I say anything to him, he's like,
He does the over-the-shoulder stare down.
mm-hmm.
Because, like, I'll be like, Ben, where are you going? And he'll just turn around. He'll just, like, look at me.
Does he give
not
you-
say a word?
Does he give you the eyebrow when he looks at you?
I feel like it's getting there, yeah.
He's getting
Yeah,
there.
Like,
Who's like an
definitely
angry
gonna be a
eyebrow, like-
Dwayne Johnson.
If he gets the eyebrow, like gets
well,
one of
you
these
can do
going.
it good.
Oh,
I didn't realize that.
that was
Rocks my dad.
It was a very good eyebrow.
Thanks, guys.
Right.
Camera didn't catch it, but I'll show you guys later. I appreciate that. It makes me feel really good about myself. Also, did you notice on that Facebook conversation yesterday? So there's a guy that we had on last week, and one of his friends, who actually is my neighbor, was commenting on a few of our things, and he goes, I asked him if he's ever going to come on the show, and he goes, yeah. He's like, maybe when I start drinking bourbon and my lawn looks as good as yours does. I'm
Typical.
like, man, here we go.
You do
That's
have a great looking lawn.
Good dad nod right there.
Z, how's your lawn?
Yeah, how is your lawn? You want to talk about lawns?
We should have that should be a prerequisite actually on the show.
You got to bring your picture of your lawn in to come in. Show us those lines.
You want to go lawn?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go lawn.
Ooh.
So for every Christmas, my father-in-law gets us a lawn care. So they come out and they spray it. They do all the stuff.
It's a fantastic gift,
Great,
by the way.
Yes.
great Christmas present. Love it because before I was spreading all that stuff myself. Now I don't have to worry about it. But I take pride in it. But I live right next door to this guy that has an irrigation system.
Ooh.
So at the very beginning of the year, when the ground's still wet, like I reign supreme.
Yeah.
Right. Next door neighbor Chuck. He's got the system going.
Everybody's got a Chuck in the neighborhood.
Great guy, love Chuck, but he blows me out of the water and it drives me nuts.
This time of year, especially.
I got to get the sprinklers out. Oh man,
It's tough to keep up with.
yeah. But my lawn's pretty good,
All right.
for a non-irrigated lawn.
So we're
That's
having this argument right now,
Okay. Talking about getting the system.
saving money for because we're building this house. And I'm like, listen, I need to have enough. I want at least the front yard to have an irrigation system.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, well, you don't water the lawn now. I'm like, well, it's because it's a lot of work. I would love to have it done. I mean, and I was actually watering it for a little while we were showing our house because, you want a nice green
it has to
lawn
look
when
good,
people
yeah.
come by. And I'm just really fighting for it. And she's like, well, how much is that going to cost? I'm like, don't worry about that. We'll figure that part out later.
Oh yeah.
Because they're pricey.
Oh, yeah.
They're really pricey.
The last I checked, it was like, how much was it? It was like $1,500 a zone. And my yard had like 5 zones, so that's a lot of money. And that was like 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh,
I didn't know it was that much.
It's a
well, the lawn in general. You got to get the lawn put in.
Well, I know,
But
right?
I think maybe if you don't have the lawn going, they just throw it in there.
Maybe it's
you know
easier
what
to
I
do
That's
it
what I'm wondering
beforehand.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'll have to talk to a DJ. Let's talk to our lawn guy.
Yeah, talk to your lawn guy. It's important. That's very
Well,
important.
it would be important to know what I need if it's actually realistic or not.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I'm like, well, we're gonna have to save all this money while the house is being built.
Yeah.
I need to know what number I need to get to.
Well, you know what? I'm just going to tell you to do it, and here's why.
Oh.
Right. So
So I can be Chuck.
You got to be Chuck, man.
You got to be the Chuck, and Chuck. I'm going to share this with Chuck.
Yeah.
Chuck's going to be very proud.
Chuck's going to know that I envy his lawn.
We all do.
But here's the thing, right? I got to get the sprinkler over to this one side of the yard, and I got to readjust it so it doesn't hit the guy's car.
Mm-hmm.
So it only stays in my yard.
Is it now? Are we talking a spinning head or a fan?
No, this is one of the
The fan.
Yeah.
The oscillating. Is that the right word?
Oscillating?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It just goes back and forth.
Yeah. So I got to put them all like real close, so it only like
Yeah.
goes so much.
Yeah.
And I got to avoid that guy's truck. He just moved in. I don't know him that well. I don't know if I can get his truck wet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't want to
Right.
do that.
So I'm not
Don't piss
trying
anybody
to.
off.
Yeah, I'm not trying to set that.
Good neighbor.
Yeah. So you gotta set the adjustment there. Then I gotta go get the tree lawn, and then I gotta move it up to get the bushes. Oh.
It's a pain in the ass.
It's such a pain.
It's
in the
such a
ass.
pain to
and
move
then
that
you
thing
just
around.
won't do it. This is why I haven't done it over the last few
It's
years.
such a pain in the ass to do. And then you're trying to get it perfect, and then you're getting soaked, and then it's just a whole mess. The whole thing's a nightmare.
Yeah, and
not
then
into
all
it.
that
Not
work
into
you've
it.
done in the beginning of the year, it just goes away because
gone.
your yard's toast if you don't keep up.
And
with
it's
it.
amazing too. It's like from April till July, lawn's like perfect. And then all of a sudden August comes around, it's like everything's getting burnt. You're kind of getting lazy. The weeds are just taking over
Yep.
everything, and I'm like, I cannot pick any more fucking weeds.
Yeah.
Mowing twice a month then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
right,
That is the thing though. It's like I don't have to mow as much, dude. I scalped my backyard last week.
You want to hear something crazy? Well, actually, you were there. I was driving on my lawn all week.
You were, but it's not your lawn anymore.
I know.
It's not your lawn.
We had to get the big play set out and the swing set. And
We got his play set moved last week.
holy shit, dude! You should have seen this thing.
I've seen pictures of the playset. That's a big playset.
We put it on a trailer,
Yeah,
pretty much fully.
full. Yeah, we,
mean, it was-
we literally took the slide off and
The and the
there's
swings.
like a rock climbing wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the swings. Yeah,
Dude.
but like top to bottom, like where the roof on that thing is, it was intact. And we strapped that sucker down.
We strapped it down good too. We did a really good job until Ian calls me. We're on 44 going like 45 miles an hour. And Ian calls me, like, we lost a strap.
Right after we hit the bridge, or like went under the bridge.
Ian's like, yeah, we lost a strap. He's like, what do you think? I'm like, just keep going, man. Just keep going. I'm like, I'm behind you. If anything goes wrong, I'll let you know. Dude.
Yeah, if anything goes wrong, it's too late.
We didn't even think about it. We're getting ready to take off, and Chelsea comes out, and she's like, guys, I don't know about this. We're like, it's fine. We should probably measure to make sure it's going to make it under the power lines and the bridges. So we measured it. So I looked online, 13 and a half feet for a semi. That's how tall a semi is. And then it's like, we were at what, 12?
You're good.
Yeah.
Right, we were around 12 feet, 12 and a half feet. But dude, I was behind him going under the bridge. I'll have to show you the video.
There's a video. It's hilarious. If I would have been in his situation, like behind and watching me drive, I don't know if I would have kept it together.
It was terrifying. It was terrifying. I'm like, this is going to hit my car. But I was just like, you know, when you get to that point where it's like, it's too late to react. I'm like, it's going to hit my car.
What are you going to do at that point?
I'm like, I can slam on my brakes. There's a bunch of cars. There's a line of cars behind us because we're going 45 on the freeway. So it's the minimum. We were okay. Yeah. We're still abiding by the rules.
Yeah.
But
You should have just got some wheels on the thing and just dragged it.
Oh, man.
I heard you're only moving 3 miles away.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we had to take it to we had to take it to the Headlands.
Yeah, I took it to one of the daycares because we can't put it on. That's what I said. I'm like, can we just put it on our lot? Like just
tuck it up in the behind, like in the woods there.
I wasn't thinking about that.
Yeah, we had to take it pretty far. Yeah, it worked out.
It did. It worked out.
You should have seen our ratchet strap job was glorious. And it's funny too because
Did you flick it and say that's not going anywhere?
Literally did. But the worst part is that I didn't even wasn't even joking when I said it.
We didn't discuss
it.
We didn't. I was waiting to see if he would do it because we got done strapping it out. He goes, "Oh yeah, it's not going anywhere." I'm like, "Yes."
I'm like, "What?"
Yes.
He's like, "Dude, you said it." He's like, "I'm like, you know what? I didn't even think about it. It's just so natural."
Oh yeah, we were driving. Steph and I were driving behind this guy. He had this flatbed truck. It was a smaller flatbed truck, and he had a stack of the pallets. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, Steph, he doesn't have those strapped down. He's going around the corner. These things are just wiggling, and I'm
didn't even strapped.
No straps.
What?
It was right behind the cab, so I'm thinking he was thinking the wind's not going to get it.
Either he's a complete badass or a complete idiot.
I mean, I didn't see him fall. He was. Yeah. I mean, we were turning right. This guy was going straight, and I was like, and Steph was even questioning that. She's like, yeah, someone's gonna get hurt.
Yeah. Jeez. Don't want to be behind that guy or next to him. Jesus.
Yeah, he had about I want to say 7 or 8 pallets. So it was stacked pretty high.
You think he still said it?
Maybe. He probably did. He probably kicked it.
It's not going anywhere.
Did the bottom one, the top will move.
Yeah.
He did the bottom one.
Earthquake test.
Yeah.
Ultimate test. We did the earthquake test a few times.
Oh, yeah,
too.
we did.
That's how we decided we need another strap.
Yeah.
Because I started shaking it. I'm like, maybe it is going somewhere.
Maybe throw one over
strap
top.
came off. That strap came off halfway there. Oh, man.
Oh, good times.
That was a great time.
So, yeah, I've been, so then today, I had to drive on the lawn with the trailer for that. And then today, we were getting the patio furniture out. And so I was like, you know what? Instead of carrying this all the way over, I've already driven on it once.
Fuck it.
Back the truck right up to the deck.
It's
great.
been dry. It's fine.
It's dried out, man. It doesn't even matter. It's the backyard, even though you're on a corner, so people can see. That's the tough part of your house.
I know.
Corner lot's tough, man, unless you have a fence. But that's why I'm like, I don't give a shit about the backyard.
Right. Well,
like I said, I scalped it.
For the new house, I don't care. Like, I don't need to put a sprinkler system back there.
No.
But the front.
You're going to want it in the back. You're going to need it.
This guy.
You're gonna get all proud about the front, and then you're gonna go out back because that's where you're gonna sit, I imagine.
Yeah.
You're gonna be hanging out back there, and you'll be like, "Dang, it's brown back here. I don't like it."
That's true though. Like I would probably care more about the backyard if I could actually get people to come to my house this summer. But
dude, that night, what was that? July 4th that we just sat back there? It was amazing.
Thanks, man.
You did a great
job.
job.
Thanks a lot. I worked pretty hard back there.
I know you did.
But thanks a lot, man.
I mean, your neighbor knows.
Yeah, he does.
Lawn looks great. Fucking Chuck.
Fucking Chuck, man.
Chuck, you're a good guy.
I got a Dan. Dan's lawn is perfect. It's just glorious.
Who's the guy in your neighborhood that has like the putting green?
Ooh. So that's the other side. That's the street over. So I think
is that guy still keeping that?
So he
intact?
was very old.
Yeah.
And so this guy used to sit in his front lawn, like on the front lawn, and he had one of those mowers. It's basically like a putting green.
Oh yeah.
The lawn was amazing.
Because
you drive past the house, it was short. Like he had like the mower too for it. and it was perfect. That guy I would drive by there, and he'd be sitting in his front yard in like a chair, just watering the grass all day. Like, it's an old man, but I drove by it last year. And it's not like that anymore.
No?
No.
Oh.
I think he's got too
Poor
old.
guy.
Yeah, I know. But
Did he cut out some cups?
I would have
he
if I were
should,
him.
yeah.
I would just be up there putting all day, just chipping.
You could literally put on that.
I'd probably be hitting from the neighbors' lawns, just like chipping them over the street, like just.
That'd be funny.
God damn it, he's over here again.
Go over there with your little tea and fixing his lawn.
Excuse me, guys, you can't do that. Actually, funny story. Speaking of neighborhood golfing, when we were probably in junior high, so two of our friends, Brian Perry and Eric Arco, we were in our buddy's neighborhood, close to where Ian used to live when we were growing up, and we grabbed some irons and we grabbed some golf balls, and we just were hitting golf balls down the street. We were playing golf.
Where was this at?
Arcos neighborhood.
okay.
So we started in Arcos at his house. We're just hitting balls down the street. So bouncing them wherever they go down the street. And then we just, as soon as it hit the grass, that's where we're hitting from. So this is so stupid. I'm not surprised the cops didn't get called.
I'm so fucking pissed at
Can you imagine being one of the people watching us? Like, what the fuck are these idiots doing? So the way that ended, we didn't hit any houses or anything, but these little kids came up to us and they're talking to us, and Perry's showing these kids like, "Hey, do you guys swing like this?" And he swings back and hits Arco in the head with a 9-iron
Got him.
right in the top of the head, dude, and he just dropped.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was like his first concussion, but man, he split his head open. There's just blood everywhere. I'm like,
I like that you say his first.
I've gotten to experience Arco.
oh yeah, okay.
He was going over Harry's house quite often.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. You were Harry's neighbor. Yeah, that's right.
I forgot about that.
We miss you, Harry.
Yeah, Harry's the man. We were just with them
Harry
last
Martin
week.
the Great.
Yep, HDG.
Harry
He's a
the
good guy,
Great.
man.
He is great.
Arco was over there quite a bit.
Yeah.
Helping him out
They have a
doing all
doc
that
together, and we were just there watching the fight last week. It was
Nice.
awesome, man.
stuff. That had to be a pretty good experience.
Yeah,
It was
awesome.
fun, man. We were worried about the Wi-Fi all night. We was waiting for it to cut out. Like our buddy Tommy had the Wi-Fi running off. He had a hotspot on his phone, and the entire night he's like, "Dude, it's perfect." He's like,
He was running for what, like 4 hours?
Yeah,
Like
because
all
we were
the
watching
prelims and all
everything.
that kind of stuff.
He's like, "I know once the main
Perfect.
event happens, he's like, something's gonna happen." And sure enough, it was like the first round.
Yeah, I think it was the very first round.
Just
yeah.
cuts out and it's just buffering. Like, everybody there is like, "Oh my
He got
god!"
fucking
He's like,
crushed. He got crushed.
"Oh man, dude, it was in between rounds.
like
so it was fine.
midnight at that
Oh
point.
yeah, it's like we can't go anywhere. It's in the middle of the fight. It happened twice actually.
Yeah. But it
worked out
It worked
perfectly.
out great, though. It was awesome.
You watched the fight?
No, I was doing live tweets. I was reading live tweets as it was going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have that kind of money.
Yeah.
Well, it's got
Got to find a guy at the dock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could have came. and
No,
hung
yeah,
out
I
with
was
us.
I was watching it just as exciting.
Yeah.
Reading it, I guess.
Yeah, reading along.
Because I didn't get to experience it live. But
I mean, it was kind of. It sucks though that it went to the judges though.
well, it sounded like he was just pounding this guy.
He
I
had
think it was a lot closer than
They made it out to be.
like I was reading some of the stuff afterwards, and yeah, I think it was a lot closer than like the analysts were saying afterwards.
I thought
Like,
he had.
Stipe was in trouble a couple times,
Dude, some of those hits
so
he
was
took.
DC,
Oh
but
yeah.
I thought it was a lot closer than they made it out.
Some of
to
those
be.
rounds that Stipe won, I thought he had no. I
right?
didn't think it was close. I thought.
I mean,
Cormier
basically
had
they
it.
said Cormier only won the first round, right?
Yeah, which I was surprised because it looked like he was beating on
I
him.
thought it was dead even going into the fifth.
I think it's just the way he had him up against the
Yeah.
gate there, or whatever, the fence or whatever you want to call it. But anywho, it was
But you're
awesome.
right, though. I don't think championship fights should go to the decision.
They were both dead though.
let
That
it
fifth
go.
round, they were
It
just
should
dead.
be KO or submit.
Sudden death overtime.
Dude,
Or someone's
they were
done.
they were both dead though.
They
man.
were.
Like Stipe had so many opportunities in the fifth round.
Oh,
to
yeah.
but he just was not. He didn't have it, man.
Or like Rocky and what was
Was it
the
4?
Drago.
no,
You know
not from the actual movies. What it was like a cartoon commercial.
Oh, the Brisk Iced Tea commercials.
Brisk Iced Tea. Yeah. He's just getting pounded. That's what it was like.
The claymation.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was fantastic.
No, it was fun though. I'm glad he won.
Yeah.
Um,
Fuck yeah,
obviously
man.
hometown dude.
Yeah, it's
And then
awesome.
he was at work 3 days later.
I know. You guy's amazing. Can you imagine taking those hits? I'd be in the hospital for a month.
Yeah.
I'd like to think I wouldn't be, but yeah, I'd take one. I'd be done.
Yeah.
For sure.
Cormier is no joke, dude. That guy fucking rocks people. And like
Yeah, for sure.
he was taking some hits.
Yeah.
Like should have knocked
It's
anybody out.
amazing how those guys just like shrug that shit off. I don't
Yeah,
know.
who knows?
Maybe it's not as bad as we think.
It looks terrible.
Yeah, it looks awful.
We were watching one of the prelims.
Have
One
a
guy
couple
got
more, and then maybe we'll go.
yeah. We'll see. We'll go try it out the street.
You're gonna put your head better. I don't want someone to hit me though.
Ian and I got in a boxing match back in the day.
Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah, and he cheated.
Who won? Who won? That was,
It's
sounds
pretty,
like
it's,
Ian
pretty,
won.
it's pretty even.
It was pretty even.
Well, it wasn't even. So what happened was we had one set of boxing gloves, and I of course got the left-handed one, and Ian got the right-handed one.
Hey, I seized the opportunity.
So Ian,
Are you lefty?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
okay, yeah, he is lefty. This guy's got a cannon for an arm, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's right. We can get into that.
Yeah, we will get into that. But so Ian has the right one, and I'm like putting my gloves on still, and Ian just comes across and jacks me in the face. Like my jaw still
All right,
ticks because of it.
Wait, how old were we?
We were in high school.
Were we?
Yeah, maybe older. I don't know. Was it
Well,
earlier?
we had to have been, I guess.
You had to been drinking first of all.
Oh yeah.
So that was not sober.
Yeah.
Oh
no.
yeah.
We were. It was an Ohio State
So
Notre
that was
Dame
that,
game,
so that
right?
was actually you were home from
I think maybe I was home on leave.
you were because we were in the red truck.
Yeah.
I think
I went to Bruno's
sister's house. So yeah, it was after high school. So
Yeah.
Ian punches me. I was not expecting it.
Total cheap shot. Dick move.
Dude just punches me in the jaw. So I just put him in a headlock, and I had the other glove, and I'm just punching him in the face. I'm just holding his head. I'm just punching him in the mouth. He goes, dude, stop spitting out blood. Not sober.
Oh man.
Oh, those were the days. So that was like the only boxing match we ever got into.
Oh, that's great.
So yeah, let's talk about your baseball career. So where did you go to high school, by the way?
I went to Fairport High School.
Oh, you went to Fairport. Okay.
The
Fairport.
Fairport High School.
What year did you graduate?
I graduated in 2002.
Two. Okay.
Yeah, it's been a little while now.
So we probably did play you. So like, because I remember playing Fairport, like in one of our summer leagues, we played. I don't know. Did you play in a different league, or did you play with Fairport?
Are you talking about that like there was
Summer
like
leagues, like they had like the
I played on some of those.
yeah. Okay. Because we probably played you in that, but so then you played college.
Yeah, I went to college. Went to St. Bonaventure University.
Okay.
Played there for 4 years, and then went and played with the Blue Jays for a couple of years.
Yeah.
The minor league team.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah.
Getting the minors.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah.
But it was very political. You know what I mean? So you get drafted as a senior in college, and you don't have much going for you, right? So
Yeah.
you're either going to the workforce or you're going to go have fun and play some ball, right? So they don't offer you much money. They give you $1,000 and say, "Here's a plane ticket if you want to come on down."
Okay.
Right? Drafted in the 35th round. That's not very good. But still, you get an opportunity. You go, and you have a good time. Went down there and did some things that I was proud of. Did some things I wasn't so proud of as far as the baseball field is concerned. But it was fun. I'd never give it up. But I was done when I was done, and I only lasted like 2.5 years.
Okay.
And so I was done.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome that you got to experience that.
Oh yeah, You ever had one of those experiences where you're like giggling like a little schoolgirl, and you're like, "This was sweet."
Oh,
Right now.
we're not giggling too much, but yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
You'll never forget this moment.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah, I do.
Right. So, you guys know Roy Halladay.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Roy Halladay.
Yeah.
He was one of my favorite players growing up. Okay, so he obviously played for the Blue Jays, went on to the Phillies, but he was still with the Blue Jays when I was there. And he was on a rehab assignment down in the minor leagues. He was just doing some spot start in a spring training type thing just to get some throws in. And so you're not the unwritten rule. You know a lot of unwritten rules in baseball, right? And so the unwritten rule is if you're a minor league guy, you don't talk to any of the major league guys. They come in, do their thing, and they get out, right? And so Roy Halladay walks past me and sits down in a locker, probably like 2 lockers away. And I'm just sitting here going, holy crap, that's Roy Halladay. I love that guy, right? And so I'm just reading this book, minding my own business. He gets up, he goes they had this thing called the 6-pack, and it's 6 mounds, 6 home plates. So there's 6 pitchers and 6 catchers usually going. And so you do your thing, you kind of sit off to the side, you go do your running, right? He does his thing. I'm sitting on the bench right next to the 6-pack, and he comes sits right next to me. I'm like, hell yeah. I'm like, he may touch my elbow. Right? So
You start scooting closer.
So, and again, you're not supposed to talk to these guys. So
Yeah.
he looks over and he says, "Hey, so you're reading a book in the locker?" And I forgot what I was reading now. It was like Freakonomics or something. It was a big book back then. But he started talking to me about this book, and I'm like, "This is sweet." And I don't even remember what I said to this guy, and I'm just looking up, and he's a big guy, and I'm like,
Right.
this is awesome, right? And it's an experience I'll never forget because he got up and he said, "Hey man, keep working hard," patted me on the back, and then moved on. And
That's
again,
something you'll
awesome.
never forget. Though,
yeah,
man.
and it was he was one of the guys I always looked up to, even in like high school and college and all that
Yeah.
stuff. And I was like, Jesus, this is
That's
sweet.
super
That's
cool.
amazing.
Yeah. So it was
Starstruck too,
so
man.
that-
It's like
that was the coolest thing that happened to me.
What
Yeah.
a tragedy with that guy.
Oh yeah,
seriously, man.
Oh,
yeah. He
that
was
wasn't that long ago either. That was
a couple. Oh, it was a couple years now.
6 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, and it's just coming out that he was using all kinds of drugs and.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he
I
was-
didn't know
that,
that.
no.
Yeah, antidepressants and stuff like that he was not prescribed. So
Oh man,
pain pills and
Yeah.
and things
Yep.
like that. So
Oh man,
that's how it happens, though, man.
that's it's got to be an amazing experience. We had another guy on that was in the minor leagues for several years.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, shit. He just stopped. He just got out like a couple years ago.
Yeah, he's a little bit younger than us.
Yeah.
So he whatever probably did 6 or 7 years, a couple different clubs and everything, and
that's a long time.
and he finally just the grind was like, all right, I got
Dude, because he was for a little while there. He was like an injury away. Like somebody
Yeah.
getting hurt to move up. Like that was.
Oh yeah, sitting on the cusp.
Yep.
yeah, he was right there.
It's gotta be so tough, man. Like baseball's so tough.
Oh yeah.
Like coming from college to going to pro baseball's got to be.
Well, you know what I
insane.
think it is about baseball is that there's so many guys on a roster and that get invited to spring training or on the minor league clubs or whatever. There's just so many guys and you're fighting for
Right.
very few spots.
Right.
And they can string you along for as long as you'll let them.
Oh yeah.
To whereas like in football, you're either going to make a team or you're not.
That's true. Yeah.
And in basketball, it's kind of the same thing. They got the D League or the
D-League.
G League or whatever the hell they call it now. But and
you
again,
go
there's
overseas.
just what those teams are 16 guys or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. With baseball, you're carrying as many as you can, especially for the 3 affiliate
now-
teams for the club. Right. But normal times.
Yeah. Yeah. Normal times. Yeah.
But there's just a lot more opportunity to play at the minor league level, whether it's A, double A, triple A
true.
ball. So you can hold on to that as long as you can. And I feel like there I don't want to call it like you can make a career out of playing minor league ball
Oh yeah.
if you want to.
Sure.
It's just a hard road, and I can't imagine not being a single guy doing it. Like,
Well, I got married after my first year. I got married, and so it's kind of there's a couple funny stories that I have that came out of minor league baseball. One of them is how I got released. I kind of ran my mouth a little bit because I knew it was getting a little political, and I knew my days were numbered. So I was like, I'm going to get my 2 cents in.
Yeah.
But in spring training, you got to get up at the crack of dawn. You're up at like 6:30. This van comes and scoots you up from this Red Roof Inn, and they bring you over to these. There's like 6 fields over there, and then you go to your respective field. If you're on this team, you're assigned to this team. You go to this this field. So 6:30 in the morning. Okay, there you know the cuts are coming. So 6:30 in the morning, they're out in the parking lot, and they got this door propped open. I look over. I'm like, oh shit, here we go. Right. So this guy, his name is Vince Horseman. He was a journeyman minor league pitcher, and he was a great guy. One of my coaches that I had, but he comes popping out of this door, and he goes, "Zinny, come over here." I'm like, nice knowing you guys, right? Because you knew when you were in the minor leagues, you didn't take anything out of your bag, so you just lived out of your bag because you never knew where you're going.
Yeah.
And so, sit me down in this office. They say, "Hey, thanks for being here for your 2.5 years, but we're going other directions." And I go, "All right, that's fine." They're like, "When do you want to get out of here?" I go, "When's the first flight out of here?" Because I was done. Right?
Yeah.
yeah.
And they're like, "Well, we got a 9:30 flight straight to Cleveland." And I go, "Get me on that flight." Right? It's 6:30, so I got to go back to the hotel, just pack a few things up. I was in my driveway. What time do you think I was in my driveway?
Where were you?
I was in Dunedin, Florida, so it's near Tampa.
11:30, 12.
12 o'clock, rolled right into my driveway. I get released at 6:30.
Wow.
Call my wife. I go, "Hey, I'm coming home." And in my driveway at 6:30, I'm sorry, 12 o'clock in,
Damn.
in the afternoon. Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah. And I just sat on my bed. I was like, a couple hours ago, I was just sitting at a field just getting.
Yeah, dude. And you're back home, and it's like, damn. 5.5 hours later.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So fucking crazy.
It's amazing. I mean, I loved baseball growing up. One of my, and I think I've said this before, one of my biggest regrets is that in high school, so I went to Menor, big school.
Oh, yeah.
I was not a crazy gifted athlete by any means. But for whatever reason, I chose football to focus on versus baseball. And I was probably way better of a baseball player growing up than I was. I was terrible at football.
Like football was sweet.
Why I chose that, I have no idea. I mean, I don't know. Parties were fun, I guess, but like I give so much credit to guys that like took that shot. You know what I mean? Because it's so easy to just say, oh, well, come on, I don't have a chance or whatever. I mean, you play through college and you get through college, and then I would assume it would be very easy to say, unless I'm getting drafted super high, I'm just gonna forget about it. But I think that experience probably changes your life. I mean, I would have loved to do something like that.
Well, yeah, I was going down. I lived in a couple different states. I lived in Virginia. I lived in Florida. In college, I lived in New York. So you kind of going different places, experiencing different things, and you're on your own too. And that's, I mean, they don't pay you much.
Yeah.
Right away, so.
Right.
I mean, I was living off of $20 a week. Like, I had $20 to spend.
Damn, man.
There was this bar that we used to go to that's right down the street. I think it was called Mixers, that we would go to. And I didn't have much to spend because I was spending most of mine on rent. So I had to really like scrounge up stuff, even just to get something to eat. And there was like a Firehouse Subs over there. And so what you did is you would steal some of the lunches that they would give at the park, because they had to feed you breakfast and lunch, but you were on your own for dinner. So you'd be like, all right, I'm gonna take a couple extra of these sandwiches and throw them in there for dinner.
Damn.
But yeah, you live like, I mean, you
It's a
learn,
grind, right?
Yeah, you
Like,
learn how to live poor. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, your small allowance, and that's what you got to live off of.
But again, though, what a cool experience!
Yeah, it
like,
was.
I think I say you did it, man. That's
to-
pretty amazing.
to learn how to live that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can now kind of like pull back on that and say, hey, man, shit happens. We're going to be all right. Like, I'll figure it out. Like, I've done worse.
You've been there. Yeah, exactly.
The other cool part about it too was dealing with some of the fans, and some of the fans were funny, some of the fans were idiots, some of the fans were, it was really, you see some young kids coming up and just like, oh my God, this guy's wearing a baseball uniform, and you sign them. Some kid's got some like 20-year-old now has got some baseball that's signed by me, sitting in their room going, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah,
You know
what
what
the
I mean?
hell is this, man? He's like, but this is awesome.
Right. So I mean,
It's a signature.
I always felt cool giving them out.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
We were in this park in Fort Myers. It was part of the I think it was the Red Sox. So this kid comes over. He's this plump little kid, and he goes, "Hey, asshole, throw me a ball." And I go, "What?"
Asshole.
And so I go, "Hey, man, that's not very nice." And I said, "You got to go, right?" So you guys know what the rosin bags are.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sitting there later on, and I go, I'm going to get this kid, right? So we had these rosin bags that we filled all the rosin in. We tied each end, and then you had your rosin bag. But it looked like a baseball, right? So I drew some seams on it. I go, hey, kid. And because he was sitting up kind of where the bullpen was, I go, you want that baseball? And he goes, yeah, I want that baseball. So I go, all right, catch. So I throw it in the air. Perfect throw. He catches it right in front of his face, and the rosin goes poof. And I could not stop laughing.
Good move.
Oh, yeah. And this
Lesson learned,
this
asshole.
kid's going, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the mom she was pissed.
Like, hey, well, your kid's over here calling
that when
grown
you
men
got
assholes.
released?
Oh, yeah. No, that was not it. But that was again one of my favorite moments.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I'm like, I got that little kid, and he had to be like 12, 13 years old.
Yeah.
A little punk.
Yeah, screaming and yelling.
You know, hopefully you taught that kid a lesson.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, but mom was. I shouldn't have done it. The mom was mad at me. I had to tell the mom, hey, he's calling everyone assholes, and she didn't believe it. And it was,
Yeah.
Hey, well, of course, not her little
awesome,
angel.
though.
but I got him.
You got him.
That's awesome.
Somebody proud of right there. I don't care who you are. That is awesome.
Love a good rosin bag trick.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's the classic rookie of
Rookie of the year move.
Yeah. Hidden ball trick.
Gotcha. Yeah. Solid move.
So I'm feeling the same thing as when we were talking to Tyler. So the other guy that came on that played minor league ball was Tyler Bortnick. And when he was going through all of his stories and stuff, I was like, man, I miss baseball so much. Like, baseball's been my favorite sport for forever. So I'm glad we actually get to watch some baseball now, or listen to some baseball at least. But it just brings me back to being a kid. Like, I loved baseball so much. I met Steve on a baseball field when I was like 4 years old. And like, we didn't go to the same school. We didn't, nothing, but we instantly became friends. And like,
we played baseball all the way up through till high school.
So yeah, till high school.
Yeah, you should have stuck with it, man.
I should have.
It was fun. I mean, it was a pain in the ass, but it's fun.
But all of it's a pain in the ass, right?
Well,
It was a
everything
pain
is.
in the ass to play football,
But I loved
didn't
it, though,
do that
man.
well, so what the hell?
Football seems tough. I never played football. I was very fragile in high school. I had a broken back in high school, so I never played football. It was too dangerous for me.
Yeah.
Is what they told me. So
I wanted to play football.
I practiced football.
I was always freaked out because like I was fast, but my dad was always like, "Yeah, well, it happens when you're a receiver." And he's like, "What's going to happen to you when you catch the ball and start running?" He's like, "Someone's going to come over and take your knees out." He's always like, "You're going to get your knees like you're going to get hurt." I'm like, "Ah, damn it. Okay, I'm not going to play." I think it was my sophomore year. The head football coach came to our tryouts when we were doing our times, our 40 times, and he like comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, what do you think about coming out for football and being a receiver for me?" I'm like, sounds cool. Sounds like a lot of work. Nah, I'm good.
Good move, man.
I know.
Good move.
Sometimes I'm like, damn, I wish I would have just done it because it could have been good. Who knows?
I
never played growing up.
Good
though.
move because anytime you have an opportunity to do something different, like that gives you some life experience.
I had no free time as it was though.
Right.
I mean, you know how baseball is in high school.
I mean,
it's
you're
like
a good ball player. Like you did everything that you needed to do all year long.
I mean, especially like at Menor too. Like there's a ton of kids trying out, so it's like you had to do the regular season, summer, fall ball, and then right into conditioning. It was year round. So I mean,
at a school like that, I feel like you
have to be at everything too. You can't miss anything.
You gotta really focus unless you're like some sort of super athlete.
Yeah,
you know
and we had a few of those
like,
guys that played multiple sports, but it's something I don't think I had the time or energy for. Yeah, I mean, maybe, who knows?
Yeah, and I
was young.
Yeah, I played for the elite Fairport basketball team, and that the only reason I started doing that is so I could get into shape for baseball at the time.
Yeah,
and so, we weren't very good, but I was on the team.
Hey, you were on the team, man. I tried out for basketball one time and I got cut. I mean, I never played basketball before that. I just wanted to do it.
Right.
I mean,
it was like
we played a
seventh
lot
grade
of basketball.
We played a ton. I was amazing at one bounce and
one bounce. Yeah.
knockout, dude. Oh my god,
don't talk to me about knockout.
Around the world all day, dude.
Arco
drain threes.
I get flashbacks of Arco with knockout.
We played knockout. You remember knockout?
Oh, yeah.
So we had like an epic game of knockout going on.
Well, our friend Nick Meyer, he was really good at basketball.
He was
Actually,
amazing.
he was on ESPN when Menor played LeBron's team. What was it? St. Vincent St. Mary.
Yeah.
And like Nick actually took LeBron to the hole. It was amazing. Like he got on Sports Center for that. So he was good.
He played at Baldwin Wallace.
Yeah. But so he had this court, this like half court in his backyard.
It was amazing.
It was amazing. And we were playing knockout one night.
Yeah, we had an amazing game going.
There was like 12 of us or something.
Maybe
like
more.
That. Maybe more. I don't know.
And then so Ian, so you know Arco,
right?
So Arco shoots, he misses. And then Ian comes over to shoot, and then
so Arco gets the rebound.
He gets the rebound. Ian's trying to go up for a shot, and Arco's ball bounced.
I was trying to knock him out.
Arco's ball is over there, like 20 feet away. So Arco's move to stop Ian from knocking him out was to punch him uppercut into his balls. Like, I mean, he crushed Ian.
He got me good.
And the best part about it is Ian has the ball in his hand. He gets hit. He goes, he's getting ready to shoot. So he's like this. He gets hit in the balls. He goes, oh.
Did you put it in?
No, he just fell to the ground after that. He tried.
I did try.
And then he fell to the ground. And then I had to drive him home, and I'm pretty sure, like, he was in a lot of pain. I had to drive like 15 miles an hour home. He's like, don't hit any bumps. Like, the dude should have gone to the hospiel.
It was rough, man.
And you have kids.
Yeah,
that's
I'm
amazing.
surprised.
So everything's fine. Everything works still, unless they're not your kids. But I'm just, that was low blow.
Now I'm really thinking.
Hey, you know what I always say? Sam doesn't look anything like me. I'm not even sure if he's mine. So
Well, it doesn't look like me, so you don't have to worry.
Yeah, it's true. Looks like a few of our friends. Ben looks like me. I got that one.
Yeah, you do.
There you go. I got one kid that looks like me. My other two look like my wife.
Yeah.
And I always joke with her, and she gets pissed about. Come on, John. Like, are you serious? Like they look nothing like me. My daughter, my middle child.
That's yours.
Oh yeah.
That one you know.
That's good.
Yeah, it's like Sam. He's 100% Liz's side of the family. He's tall, blonde. I'm like, okay, I don't even know about him because definitely not like me.
It is funny how kids take on different traits from each side of the family. Like, I mean, it's just science, I guess, but I don't know.
Science.
It's weird though how they can be so different.
Right.
Like in my kids, like Gibbs is tall and skinny. He's not that tall, but he's skinny and
Pretty tall.
But he talks like he acts kind of like me. He's very outgoing. He's very assertive, but he just doesn't really look like me, I don't think. To whereas Sloan, like she's kind of got my build and she's super freaking sweaty, just like I am.
Super sweaty.
I mean, poor thing. I feel so bad. I literally
runs
apologize
hot.
to her all the time. I'm like, I'm sorry, sweetheart. Like,
She is all
you're
you.
gonna be a sweaty kid.
She's all you, man.
There's nothing I can do about it.
I walked in his house the other day and Gibson's trying to get me to build his Legos and Sloan comes up to me. She's just completely naked. And she goes, I'm a naked butt. And she starts dancing around and smacking her butt. I'm like, okay, that's Ian's.
Yep. Yep.
Something Ian would do in a drunk night.
That's my daughter.
It's going to be Ian when we leave here tonight. Just running down the street here.
Woo!
Woo! Woo!
Is that going to get on tape or no?
Oh, I have.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's 2020, man. Everything's on video.
Yeah, right.
There's phones everywhere. It wouldn't even be just my phone.
All right. So can I double back to the
Yes, absolutely.
the golf?
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'm going way back now, but
That's what we're supposed to do.
we talked about golf.
so
Yeah.
so the neighborhood golf.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Did you live in a like association, like a
No.
development?
So what's the?
It
I
would-
mean,
it
was a
should
neighbor-
have been.
Yeah.
I mean, if they would build a development like that now, it would definitely have.
Yes, for
like
sure.
a
But this one
HOA.
wasn't. But this was, I mean, just like your neighborhood. Basically, it would be us
Right.
in your neighborhood. Do you have sidewalks?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so it's the same thing. We were like, if the ball, we'd hit it down the street, and it would just be bouncing down the street. I mean, there's cars driving down the street constantly. I don't know what the fuck we were thinking. Not a good idea.
And by the way, like this neighborhood was
At that time,
hundreds of houses. Like it's
Oh,
not
it's
even like it
huge.
was like a couple streets.
I'm telling you, we
like-
went way down the street. We were going everywhere.
So the reason I asked because now everyone's got these like Facebook pages for their
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
their association, right? Mm-hmm. So ours is Lake Erie Shores, right? And we got kids doing crazy stuff all the time. And as soon as something goes down, it's on the book.
Yeah.
It's on Facebook.
Yeah.
And people are on there commenting left and right. And
That's kind of.
I can't imagine if they would have had that when we were.
oh yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Dude, we were everywhere,
There was a bunch of us in that
man.
neighborhood, and we were idiots. I mean,
I just think about the shit we did. I think about the night. Okay, so we said we had this thing that was called bogeys. We're on our bikes. We're like, let's go get some bogeys. So what we would do is we would like be sitting on the side of the street waiting for a car to come by, and it's night. It's at night. So cars would come by, and we would just ride their asses, like just get on their ass, like just like riding. They get to a stop sign, and we park our bikes like an inch away from their bumper.
such
Like how these people didn't get out of the car and start beating the shit out of us. Like let's go get some bogeys, and then some people would react, and then we just take
Yeah.
off and go into the
yeah.
backyards and
Yeah,
hide
yeah.
and knocking over garbage
We did
cans.
Don't
dumb shit.
Stop.
Oh, don't. Jesus
How
Christ.
dumb were we?
So this thing we called Don't Stop. So in Manor, so you know where Bellflower Road is.
yeah. Oh yeah.
So those streets where Ian lived off one of them. So they run perpendicular to Bellflower. So what we would do is when you start approaching Bellflower, we just all scream, "Don't stop! Don't stop!" And we would just fly across Bellflower.
And you can't be the one that stops. Can't be a little bitch about
Like
it.
can't be
right
bitch.
into traffic.
Oh,
right in
yeah.
traffic. I actually got pulled over by a cop.
Remember when I fell?
Yeah,
Remember when I got hit by that car?
Ian got clipped.
It was on
Jesus,
July
man.
4th. Oh, so dumb.
So stupid. We could have caused so many problems for people
And ourselves.
and ourselves, but that's not important.
But we were doing that, and I got clipped by a car on my back tire, and I went tumbling. And so I remember it was July 4th. We were going to Winterman's house. And I show up to Winterman's house. I got blood all over my face, fucking road rash and shit. Like that.
Jesus, man.
We're idiots, man. We would have been all over the internet for that.
Yeah, you'd been on Facebook.
Oh,
You'd been,
everywhere.
On my homeowners association, you've been on Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I got pulled over by a cop for doing that.
Oh yeah, we got.
He actually turned his lights on, whoop whoop, pulled me over. And I'm like, oh, Jesus. And I'm on my bike.
You know,
He goes, hey, idiot, you need to stop at stop signs. I'm like, oh, there's one back there? I missed it. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? He should just...
You were like 15.
I know. I mean, come on, man. I was trying to impress somebody. I don't know what I was doing.
Yeah, we were just idiots. Like, we would do that all the time. I mean, really think about all the stupid shit that we did.
Oh, yeah. Can you imagine now, like, remember going to like a friend's house or whatever? Shortcut. Cutting through someone's yard on your bike.
oh, yeah.
Oh my God, I'd be so pissed if some kid was riding a
That
bike
goes
through
on
my
Facebook
lawn.
all the time. I'm telling you, you can't get away with anything in this neighborhood.
poor kids,
which
man.
is good.
It is good,
It's
but-
good to a sense, but then like a kid being a kid, we got kids that have like the motorized bikes that are on the sidewalk, and so
Yeah.
people will be like, "These damn kids are on the motorized bike on the sidewalk."
Hit the mute button on my. Yeah. Sorry.
But then it starts a whole 50 comment thing that has to end up getting removed because someone will say like, "Hey, I'm voting for Biden or Trump," and then all like, where did this come from? You know what I mean?
Right,
It gets
right.
all
Yeah, it's like-
crazy.
it's like-
yeah.
People can't even be friends anymore.
We have a Facebook group for my neighborhood, and it's just always about people picking up dog shit.
Oh yeah.
Dog shit's a big one, huh?
Yeah.
We got a guy that'll do a close up of the dog shit, and he'll put it on the Facebook page. It's sick.
It's like, dude, why? Just say, hey, somebody's dog shit on my lawn again. I don't need
Hey,
pictures of it. I
reminder,
get
please
it.
clean up your dog's poop.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he gets in there. I imagine this guy gets on his knees and like zooms in, puts portrait mode on, and gets in there. Yeah. He's all in it.
Dude,
Yeah.
I'm
Like, at that
not
point, just
even
fucking pick it
surprised, man. I know.
You know?
So when I'm mowing the lawn, like I have the tree lawn, people walk past my house constantly with their dogs. It's going to
Just
happen.
Commenting on how amazing your grass is.
It's not that great anymore. Plus, I had that work done now, so I have a
yeah.
different colored grass in the yard. It's
Steve's
ruining
had
my life.
work done.
I had work done. My tits. So
I've noticed.
thanks, guys. Let me push them together for you. I don't have a low cut shirt on. My bad. So, but yeah, I mean, it's like sometimes I'm like, I don't know if that's my dog shit or not, but I'm gonna clean it up. I'm not gonna leave
Right.
it there. I'm not gonna grab the person and shove their face in it. Whatever. It's not that big of a deal. Maybe I should. That'd be kind of awesome. But the nice thing about my dog is he shits only in my yard. There's 3 places he'll shit. It's at my house, my mom's house, and my in-laws' house. Like if we take him to a park, he will not shit.
Really?
Yeah.
Home field
good dog.
advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's
I
a
mean,
great
I
dog.
get it.
I mean, yeah, right? I mean, it's like shipwreck. Like,
Dude,
I'm not going to go
Speaking of,
public bathrooms.
so we got the keys to our apartment today.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'm moving some of our crap in and had some coffee this morning.
That'll
And
get things moving.
I'm
a little
moving
bit.
around and everything, and I'm about halfway done getting my truck unloaded. Ooh.
First dump at the new place.
So, yeah.
Christened it.
So I just went over there and christened the master bathroom, and
Why is that a thing for guys? We love it.
it's great.
It's like, man, it's just like, it's
I
like, this is
fucked up,
ours.
though.
Oh, what?
Well, I looked around.
No TP.
There's no TP.
Oh, God. Did you knock on the neighbor's door?
Fuck no.
Duck walk to the bathroom. You duck walk to the shower, didn't you?
No. Fortunately, yeah.
Chelsea walks in, he's laying like
Fortunately-
up against the faucet, just wiping his
I
ass.
found some paper towels.
Where'd you put those?
Hmm?
Did you put them in the toilet?
Yeah. I didn't give a shit.
I guess it's an apartment complex.
Yeah.
Not your problem.
Ripped them in half and like did the whole thing. I'm like, oh. It was miserable. I was like sweating because I
I
was
just picture
moving
Ben
shit.
Stiller and Along Came Polly,
Oh,
just
yeah.
sweating your ass off. You're just,
I was so fucking sweaty. I'm like, ah.
are you okay? Because you're sweating quite profusely.
Were you texting people that you did it? Like, hey,
No, I should have.
You should have taken a picture, man. That's a big
should have.
moment.
my
You're right. I fucked up.
Next time.
It is a big deal. My buddy just moved into where those where Fairway Pines used to be.
Oh yeah.
That was the first thing he did. Is he sent in the group text that we have of each other, of his pants just on the ground, and he's like, first one. And
That's awesome.
Why? Everyone's
Yeah,
just dying laughing.
just clapping.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
it's a thing.
standing
you know?
ovation. Everybody's so proud.
Yeah, it's a thing.
It's like, man, it's official, dude. Good for
Yeah.
you.
It's like a crown. You put
Yeah.
your crown on
Hey, you're
there.
marking your territory.
I guess
It's my
yeah.
place.
There you go.
Right.
It's officially yours.
Yeah.
Now you got to hit the other bathroom. So remember
I
toilet
did.
paper. So you hit both.
Well, yeah.
You hit the whole apartment,
Later.
man.
I mean, I brought toilet paper to my second or third trip that I went.
Second
It
or
was
third.
okay. Yeah, I
Dump?
made a couple. No. Second or third
Jesus,
trip
man. I'm like,
to
how many
the
times did you
place.
take a shit today?
I took
We
a
had
couple
the keto bar
truckloads
over there.
today.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's true. Who knows what that's going to
Working
do to him?
something out.
Hey, we could pause this if you got to go real
I'm
quick.
good. I'm good.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
no, that was frustrating. I was like, God, it's such a rookie mistake.
That is, man.
I moved like, I don't know.
You got a lot going on.
Multiple
You got a
times.
lot
I
going
do.
on. it's tough to remember everything.
Well, I'm not really a coffee drinker, but I knew I was going to need it today. I need a little extra boost.
Yeah.
So
It's the end of the week.
I wasn't
Fridays are
planning on
tough.
the coffee dump.
It happens though, man.
Right.
It doesn't. You weren't planning on the coffee dump. That's first day shit, man.
I know, man.
You drink a coffee.
I got a lot going on.
You gotta keep the emergency roll in like the back of the truck.
True
'Cause you
story.
never-
So
you
here's
never
the
know.
problem. Here's the problem. I always used to have an emergency roll.
Yeah.
The problem is
In the car?
you didn't.
You gotta have one.
Yeah,
I guess I didn't think about it.
literally
I
always
like-
used to have one.
Okay.
Especially because like when I used to hunt all the time, and so you
Okay.
always had to have one.
Yeah, that's true.
Then I had kids, so
Wipes.
there's always wipes in the truck. My kids are out of diapers now. I don't have any fucking wipes in the truck.
Well, not only it's in the truck though. That's another thing though. You're like, took a shit and I got to waddle down to the truck and
But that would have been if I knew that there was wipes in the truck. I would have made the waddle.
well, with wipes
Because
especially.
wiping with wipes is fantastic.
Oh yeah. It's
Oh,
like
I mean,
it's like
it's
shower.
glorious. Yeah, it's basically a shower.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
I don't even shower anymore. I just use wipes. So they're scented. So I smell like, whatever the scent is.
No, I get it, man.
You know what I'm talking
about. You gotta do it.
Hey, well,
You gotta do it.
pro move right there. Oh God! All right,
man.
so back to kids. What are we doing here? This is fantastic. Well, dumb talk is, it's important. We always get at least once an episode we talk about shit,
Yeah, we do.
whether it's ours
It's normally
or the
about
kids.
kids shit, but
And we
every
covered
once in a while.
dog shit.
Yeah, yeah.
We've covered human adult shit. Let's talk about kids shit.
We talked about wiping asses.
We did.
That
Yeah, we
kind of
did.
counts.
We're good.
Yeah, we covered it all.
Yeah, we're good.
We covered it all.
So on your third child, was this like something you had planned all along? Because what's your middle child? How old? So you said 7?
So my son's 7. My
Okay.
daughter, my middle daughter's 4.
7, 4.
And,
Okay,
And so my youngest daughter Nessa is 9 months. Now.
9 months.
She's
okay.
going on 9 months.
So they're pretty evenly spread out.
Yeah. Steph got in her head to have 3 kids because our middle child was supposed to be a twin. So she miscarried that one.
Oh, okay.
And so she got stuck on this number, which I never disagreed with. But, it came at a certain cost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, like I said, she just had it in her head. We had the third one. And the third one, and it was nothing like your situation, but our third one was a pretty traumatic experience, not only for her, but for me. Do you know what the prolapsed cords are? Have you ever heard of that?
No.
So Steph's water breaks in the house, right? She's got about I don't want to say 3 weeks to a month ago, right? Her water breaks in the house, and I've never seen that before. I'm like,
Yeah.
And so I freak out. I'm like, get in the car. And so both my kids at the time, I go, get in the car now, right? And so they didn't hesitate. My wife, who I love her to death, but she's very stubborn. She goes, no, we're not supposed to go, not supposed to go. Well, they don't tell you when your water breaks. Even Steph didn't know this. It just keeps coming, right? And so she's wearing this towel, like, one of those sumo wrestlers.
Yeah, yeah.
She's got it
yeah.
strapped up like a sumo wrestler, going around the house. And I'm like, let's go. We got to go, right?
Yeah.
And she goes, no, we can wait. No, I'm like, we're going. And I'm yelling, let's go, let's go, let's go. So we get to the hospital. We're at Lake West. And we get in the room, and Steph goes, I got to go to the bathroom. She goes to the bathroom, and she feels something coming out. And I'm like, I'm going to go get this nurse. You want me to go get the nurse? She goes, yeah, go get the nurse. So I go to the nurse. I go, hey, my wife says she's feeling something. And she goes, okay. She goes over there, shoves her hand down there, and then all of a sudden goes, code red, code red, code red.
Code red.
Code something. I don't even
Yeah,
know
but
what
still,
it is.
regardless,
It's a
any
code.
code is terrifying.
She jumps on the bed, and her hand's still down there, right? And then all of a sudden, like 7 or 8 nurses just fly into this room. And I'm going, what the hell is this, right? And so this nurse, they're starting to wheel her off into the OR. So my daughter is breech and backwards. So she's coming out ass first. So they got to go get her anyways, right? Mm-hmm. So this nurse is trying to be very calm and saying, hey, everything's going to be all right, but this is a very serious situation. And I'm sitting here like, tell me what the heck the situation is, right?
Jesus Christ,
And
man.
so she's trying to do what she's got to do and not make me go crazy and make my wife go crazy. And so she goes, well, this is called a prolapse umbilical cord. this is cutting off her circulation and we need to go get her now. Right. And so they just wheel her off and I don't even know what the heck's going on. And again, doctors are flying in. And the last thing I hear before these OR doors close is, excuse my language, Steph, the doctor goes, I don't give a fuck about a mask, right? Because this nurse wanted to put a mask on, and I'm like, oh,
wow.
If the doctor's going crazy,
Yeah.
I started going, so I'm bawling, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm
It's
bawling.
terrifying.
I don't know what's going on, right? And so my poor mother-in-law was up there too, and I'm pacing back and forth, got my hands on my head, I'm crying, right? I'm not a big crier, right?
Yeah.
And I'm bawling. And she's patting me on the back saying it's going to be okay, and I don't even know what I said to her. I looked back and said something, right? And I regret it now, even though I don't know what it was. And all of a sudden I hear her crying. Like I hear crying in the OR. I'm like, holy shit, thank God, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, they come back out. They have my daughter. They don't let me go. They let me go in the OR, right, to see, because they knew I was freaking out.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So they let me go into the OR, and they got Steph on the operating table over here. I'm like, oh God, right? Crazy stuff, just blood everywhere.
Yeah. I mean,
They say, hey, here's your baby. She's good. We got to get you out of here. You're not supposed to be in here. So I go in, I wait. They give me my daughter, and I'm so happy I got my daughter, right? And so the nurse comes in. She goes, hey, this is a miracle baby. She shouldn't have made it tonight.
wow.
If you would have stayed home, her oxygen would have been cut off, and you would have lost her. And so I'm going crazy, like, so glad that I freaked out. I freaked out. I'm like, we got to go, right?
Yeah.
And so,
Well, thank God.
oh yeah. And so when the nurse came back out, she's like, hey, by the way, like when we were going in, she was losing, in the umbilical cord, you can feel the heartbeat. So she was losing some of the heartbeat. Like she could feel it, like going more somber, right?
Yeah.
And so then I'm like, just happy I got my daughter, right? I'm just looking at her, rocking her. And the nurse goes, and this is kind of funny. The nurse goes, hey, by the way, your wife's okay too.
Yeah.
And I go, you're right. I'm sorry. I should have asked. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
You just kind of assume, though. I mean, like, you figure like it's all with the baby.
I was
but
just so happy. Like
yeah.
after they told me
Sure.
everything that was going on, and I was just so happy I was holding her.
dude,
right?
that is terrifying.
Oh yeah.
I can't even imagine
Yeah.
having to go through, like, 'cause, like you said, you don't know. They just they wheel her out, and you don't know what the fuck's going on. And
Yeah.
I mean, as a father, all of us have been through something. It's like you don't know. I mean, you do know all the stuff that could go wrong. Not every birth is going to be perfect, you
Right.
know, and just the smallest little thing could go wrong. And that's so fucking terrifying. I don't care what situation it is, no matter what, that's scary as a
Yeah.
parent.
Dude,
That's like,
I've been so lucky. Both of my kids were born very, I don't even like to use this term, but normally. Mm-hmm. And it was fucking terrifying.
Oh yeah.
I cannot imagine, like with Gibbs, I can't remember exactly. It's been so long now. I can't even remember exactly what was going on, but they did have to have the NICU in there on standby, and it ended up being fine.
yeah,
Like
but
they
still,
didn't really need them, but like that caused more anxiety, especially with the first one.
yes.
But like again, everything was fine, and I was still so stressed out. I can't imagine
Something like that, man.
going through that.
Like, even with Ben, like, we knew he was going to have problems right off the rip. Like, we knew that going into the hospital. So we went to Rainbows. So luckily, I mean, his birth was completely perfect. Like, everything went smoothly. But we knew that as soon as he was born, like, he's not normal. They have to take him away from us. But at the same point, I'm like, that was not so bad. The birth wasn't so bad.
Right.
Like, I can't imagine having something like that happen. That had to be terrifying. I just can't even imagine. I mean, I hear all kinds of stories. Like, you know, and majority of people that we know, they go through it. It's like, boom, everything's perfectly fine, and it's okay. But the stories you hear, something like yours, like that is fucking scary. I don't care who. Like, going through something like that is terrifying.
Stuff you don't even know. Like I didn't
you
know.
never- I've never heard of that.
No.
Right? You know.
No idea.
But then all of a sudden you hear these stories, and it's like, man, we've heard quite a few stories of
Yeah,
people.
that is kind of the cool thing about doing this is that we've heard so many different, and we always get surprised. Like somebody else has a different thing that they had to go through. Mm-hmm. We're like, oh shit, I didn't even know that was a. That
I never
was
even heard of that
thing.
before.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like Ben's thing with his heart. Like we've had one of our friends, Nick Ora, came on here and told us a story about his son who had a heart problem going in. Well, they knew it prior to, but like he's still dealing with it now. I forgot how old he said his son was, like 4 maybe or 5.
yeah.
But I mean, that kind of stuff. Like I've never met anybody else who had a child that had like a heart condition, like
Right.
something go wrong. And like now I know probably 4 people, their kids had to have open heart surgery at birth, like after birth. Like it's like, man, it's crazy.
Yeah, and that's scary in itself, knowing that they're going to take him right away. You know
Yeah,
what
I mean, that's like as soon as he was born, we got to hold him for a minute, and they would take him away from us, and they're like, okay, you guys could hold him for another minute or so, and then they just threw him into like this little cage
insane.
and took him away, and it's like,
so
and then we
insane.
like, because you get your baby, you get to, and all of a sudden they get to lay next to you, you're in the room with them. He was just gone. Like we didn't, like they're like, we'll come get you guys. You come see him in the morning. Like he's just
and
gone.
There's this thing that happens when your kid is born. I don't care if it's the first kid, second kid, fifth kid, whatever. Your kid is born, and like, I don't know if it's because we're guys and we're not doing the actual work, and so you have to like wait on the sidelines for like all the work to be done, and then when it happens, I remember for both of my kids, there's just this like overwhelming sense of like, oh my God, this kid is here, and there's joy and happiness and just like love, right? And again, I'm not like this mushy dude, but like for both of my kids, when that happened, I was just like so overcome with that emotion.
Right. There's no doubt.
And so like I have no, like I understand why the nurse had to say, by the way, your wife is okay. Like I love my wife more than,
Absolutely.
For sure.
but like my kids, just like seeing them being born was just an amazing experience. I can't imagine anything going wrong. Like,
Oh, man.
I don't know what I would have done.
It was definitely, I didn't even know, like I said, my mother-in-law, she was pacing back and forth with me, trying to follow me. And I was probably being an asshole.
Yeah.
And
But
right.
your emotions are just going all over the place,
and I'm
man.
crying, tears are falling all over the ground. And, my middle daughter too, she had a kind of a weird one going on where she wouldn't turn over. So she was breech. And so have you guys ever heard of like them trying to push the baby over?
Yeah.
Okay, so they were trying to do that on October 10th of 2015, okay, in Lake West Hospital. So they had my daughter's head from here, and then it kind of went over to like one of the left rib cage.
Right.
And they're like, we can't get her anymore. You're going to come in tomorrow, and we're going to try pushing again. And her due date was like 2 weeks out. And I go, that night, I go, hey, why don't you pack your bags? Because what if like they have to go get her or whatever? Or if she just starts coming, right? She's like, she's not coming, John. It's 2 weeks away. And I go, just pack the bags and let's go.
Yeah.
Right. So she's like, fine. She packs the bags. And she was kind of like giving me the attitude about it, right? We get to the hospital. They're trying to turn her, and the doctor goes, wait a minute. She puts the monitor on. She's like, you're having contractions. We got to go get her. Like, she had a C-section. The second one was a C-section. So I had all A's, by the way. And so my dumb ass goes, ha! I told you!
It's such a guy thing to do. I won an argument. I won.
No way
I
wouldn't
won.
have done that.
So Steph's going, she's going, they're going to cut me open.
Yeah, but babe, I was right. That's all that matters right now. Nothing else matters. What you have to go through is irrelevant.
Oh, yeah.
I'm right.
So have you guys ever experienced a C-section?
No, I have not.
I'm trying to think. Both of my sister-in-laws both had C-sections. Both, for both their kids. Yeah.
So my son came out normally. My first daughter came out via C-section. So when they go in, you get to go and kind of witness things, but they got a curtain up, and you're standing by your wife. That's, you're sitting off to the side. She's laying down. They got her handcuffed to the bed.
Really?
Right? Oh yeah, they got her handcuffed to the bed because they don't want her moving and flapping and doing all this stuff.
It's fucking terrifying.
So they're like, so the doctor goes, hey, we're about to pull her out. You want to see her? And I go, I don't know if I should look at this. And I go, I'm going to do it. So I peek over the curtain, and like I look at the stomach, and I look over to the left, and I go, oh God, I shouldn't have looked to the left. They had like stuff just sitting there.
they just pull everything out and
they
like
pull it out, right? And I go, oh man. And then I look back over, and then you see the baby come out, and they're like, all right, you're good. You don't have to look back. And so they clean the baby up. They clean Evie up, and they give her to me. And I'm showing Steph. I'm like over here showing her. And I go, hey, here's your daughter. So she's still handcuffed to this thing. And Steph's looking around. She's like moving her head. And all of a sudden she goes, bruh, and pukes all over my like, you know how you got the gown on?
Yeah.
I go, well, I guess I'm not saving that. Right? 'Cause I want to save it, right?
Like, oh, that's gone.
Yeah, and so like whatever the meds they gave her made her nauseous, and
Yeah.
so she was, So I was like, oh my god, like, what do I do now? Like, hey, can I go change, or do I just sit here with this?
Or do I just stand here? Like, what am I supposed to do? I don't know what to do with my hands.
So they scan everything when they're coming out. So
Right.
they scan the bag and they'll say, hey, there's 3 rags in there, right? And then they're scanning. So they have to scan the bag, and again, it'll tell you there's 3 rags coming out. But then they have to scan each individual rag that has the tag on it, right? So they're scanning everything back in. So the nurse looks around. She goes, hey, we're missing a rag. And she doesn't think I hear her. I'm like, you better go find that thing, because the doctor's putting the last stitch back in. And the nurse is like, she's like whispering to the other nurse. She's like, I don't know where it is. I don't know where it is. And so I'm sitting there. I'm like, hey, are you sure it's not in there? And they're looking around like, oh crap, he knows, right? And so then all of a sudden they find it. It's like under this like bunched up stuff. I'm like, thank God. I couldn't imagine if they had to go back in and get it.
Can you imagine? Yeah,
Right.
like I was gonna cut her back open real quick.
Yeah. Oh God.
Just, oh my God,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah, that's not a job for me. There would be all kinds of stuff in there. Like tools would be sewed back in there.
yeah.
Like,
I can never find any of my tools. Like, there's no chance I would not.
I'm not one of those
up.
people that like could just put everything like my dad's toolbox was always like perfectly.
I can
just,
imagine.
It was just like pristine. It was beautiful. Like how everything was perfectly placed back in. I just thrown.
Yeah, throw it in there.
And I could never find. And
Although-
there's a good reason for having them put back into place because you know where it's at every time.
Although the other day I was taking apart some stuff in the house and I needed a 9/16 wrench, and I went to where it should be and it was fucking there.
I meant to tell you the other day
I was
when we pulled
amazed.
the place set apart. When I took your tools and everything back into the garage, I just threw them.
I noticed.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. I don't know where this shit goes. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, okay, well, it's like almost 8:30.
Yeah.
I just want to get this show on the road. I'm just gonna throw this here, and he's moving.
It's fine.
So it doesn't matter.
To find it anyways, yeah.
I was gonna tell you later,
Totally
but
fine. When somebody, I feel like when
I waited till
somebody
today to
helps
tell
you, they have free reign to
Yeah.
put tools back wherever the fuck they want.
I'm like, whatever. It worked out.
Yeah.
That's probably why I put it there. Was probably why you found it.
Yeah.
I probably happened to drop it in the right place.
You're probably right.
You're welcome.
It's meant to be.
Yeah.
God, man. Yeah. No, that's insane though.
Yeah. So that's twice. You had 2 crazy things go, and that's why I told Liz, I'm like, I cannot even imagine having a 3rd child because I know of all the things. Like she's like, it'll be fine. Just hope for a healthy baby. I'm like, I am,
Right.
and I know what happened with Ben was like 1% chance of happening.
Right.
And I know I'm like, probably won't happen again. But what we went through, I'm like, I just can't even imagine having to do that again. Like I've never had to, I've never experienced any type of feeling like that in my life. You know what I mean? Like you said, like the pacing.
Yeah.
Like in situations where I'm like, when they would tell me something was going wrong and there's nothing you could do but just
Right.
sit
that's
there
the
and
thing,
hope that
though,
everything's
right?
fine. It's like,
it's control. Like I don't know if it's a man thing or what. but,
Yeah.
like when you don't have control over something.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
It's fucking infuriating.
it is. Because you're like, okay, what do I just sit here? I just wait until you guys come back and
Like,
tell me
dude,
something?
I remember
don't know.
when you guys were going through the stuff with Ben. Like I was pissed off. I'm like,
Yeah,
there's literally nothing I can do.
There's
to
nothing.
help
Yeah,
this
exactly. I'm
situation.
just like, okay, well,
Right.
What do I do now?
So as a dad, if someone messes with your kid, you can go deal with it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
You can fix that problem. We can't fix that.
No.
Right. We can't fix.
You just got to
those
hope
things.
that you're putting this all into the doctor's hands and
Yeah.
please God help you, like make sure they do everything okay. Because like, I mean, I don't know. I can't even imagine if things went wrong.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's what I think about all the time. Like, not to be, I don't know, whatever. These chicks, these women that we have like gotten to be around, like they're just freaking amazing what they can do. Like,
Absolutely.
body's crazy.
it's
insane.
insane.
The stuff it does.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't imagine like watching them go through what they go through, like your wife with the C-section, that whole thing, dude. Like that's me. I'm not moving. And they're like, what? It's like a day or so. Like they're all of a sudden they're up and they're holding the baby and they're doing all the stuff that they need to do. I'm like, I watched that and I'm exhausted.
Bro, my first kid, so Gibbs, when he was born, I remember like while she was pushing, I had to go. I went and changed because I was in sweatpants and I was just getting a little warm.
Yeah, I try to do something like that too. I try to go to the car to grab something too. That didn't work
I
out.
went and changed into shorts, and then like there was like half a burrito left from earlier, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and finish this thing. It's not gonna stay good. There's no refrigerator in here.
Boy.
Finish it, It's like what an asshole.
And then you're yelling when the contraction's going to push with burrito on your breath.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
absolutely.
And she's like, now I'm starving. Thanks, asshole.
Oh yeah. Oh
Did
yeah.
you eat a burrito? No. That's from yesterday.
You see a little piece of rice right here.
Oh, my beard? My bad.
Oh. So I've had ice chips for 36 hours.
Yeah, well, that burrito was
But yeah,
delicious.
I mean, they're just amazing, and I don't know. I try not to take it for granted, like how amazing being a dad is, because we
For sure.
don't have to do
that alone.
that. Right, exactly. And
That's what I was-
yet we get like again, like my daughter's like, I only want to snuggle with daddy. Like, all right, I'm
Yeah.
taking it. Like, there's
Yeah.
no way I'm not taking that because I didn't really have to work for it.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like I always give Liz all the credit in the world for the way she responded to everything that happened at the hospital. Like with Ben, she was amazing. Like she kept me together. Like
Yeah.
I mean, vice versa. I did the same for her. Like we went through our moments, but
You guys did great.
she was just amazing the whole time. Like I was a nervous wreck because everything that happened, I was like, oh my God, he's not going to make it. Like, and she was always very supportive. She always kept me together and everything. So, I mean, goes with the whole mom
Yeah.
mentality. I don't know. They're amazing. I'll give them all the credit in the world.
Yeah.
It's well deserved. But yeah, I don't know. It's craziness.
And I feel what you feel with your daughter too, because my middle daughter, man, she is like when she gets hurt, she's like, I want to go see mom and all that stuff. But
Right.
she sleeps with us, and we've given up on trying to put them
Yeah, that's
into
tough.
their bed. Right. So my son sleeps on the floor.
Hey, whatever works.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
So my daughter sleeps right in between us, but as soon as I lay down in bed, her head goes right here. I'm like, hell yeah. And there's been plenty of times where I wake up in that same position.
Yeah.
And so
It
the
is
rewarding part.
awesome. I have so with us, it's Sam is like attached to me, and then Ben is attached to Liz. Like that's
Yeah.
I have to do it. Sam is like everything
that's
with me.
okay.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean, and it's fine. Like sometimes I'm like, oh man, because he'll say things like Liz will try to do something for him. I'm like, no, it has to be Dad. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. She's like, oh, it's fine.
You take what you can get, though,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
I mean,
Like I said, with Ben
and it can be annoying,
Well, I have to do everything,
Right.
but with
But-
him. But I love it though.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'll take it. Like because one day it's not going to be like that. And
Right.
So while it's happening now, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take every moment.
Yeah, my son's been past giving hugs now, so it's like you kind of miss it. You're like, all right, well, he's grown up. He's being a guy, you know what I
Say
mean?
Yeah.
7 or 9?
He's 7.
7? Yeah.
He's been past it for a while, but you're still like, all right, he's my boy, right? And
Yeah.
So instead of hugs, you do the fist bumps now, you know what I mean? So, but you miss those things.
Yeah.
See, Gibbs is 5, and I do the fist bump and everything else, and like sometimes he'll just be like, "Dad, I need a hug." I'm like,
Fuck
absolutely, absolutely, kid.
Take it while you can,
He
man.
won't come to me for that stuff. Like if he wants to jump and like come off the top ropes and give me an elbow drop off
Oh,
the
yeah.
couch, right? Yeah,
And
even
that-
when I'm not looking.
How amazing is that, though? Too. Like I try, like Chelsea will sometimes look at us like it'll be like 9 o'clock, and he's supposed to be like calming down
Yeah,
for
he's
bed and
getting all
stuff like
crazy.
that, and he wants to wrestle and something. Fuck yeah, I'm gonna do it. Like,
Oh yeah,
because I know that in a very short time frame, he's not going to want to do that anymore.
It's a small window
And
of them wanting to do this stuff.
it
with
is
you.
what it is, right? Like
you want to know my son's special move?
Yeah.
Like, you know how Randy Savage got the elbow drop,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and Bret Hart's got the sharpshooter. He does this thing when I'm not looking and I'm not even ready to wrestle. I'll be laying on the ground and he'll do a off the couch double knee to the back,
Ooh.
and I'm just like, oh. And then it's on. Like
It's like, okay, you wanna play
because
this
now
game?
He hurt me, and now I got to put him in a headlock, give him a noogie.
What's crazy
Yeah,
is when
right.
the
You have
kids
to.
actually start to like
Hurt you?
hurt you.
Oh, it hurts.
Like Gibbs now, he does this thing where he tries he does like a what's that called? Just like a
headlock?
like a headlock.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he doesn't actually choke me out, but his little bony ass arm actually hits like my throat, and I'm like, dude, that fucking hurts.
it gets you.
Yeah. And I'm like,
Sam
wait a
hurts me
minute,
a
I
lot,
can't.
man.
And you can't show like you're getting
but-
hurt.
Oh, yeah, you gotta be tough, man. Like, all right,
But then I also get this like rage. I'm like, don't fucking do that.
Yeah, you want to throw him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Theo, he's been taking karate for like 2.5 years over at one of the local karate places, and he can throw a little punch every now and then, and he'll get me like in the kidneys, and I'll be like, and I got to be like, it doesn't hurt, man.
That's good.
And I look back to like my dad, where like I was afraid of him until
Last year.
now. No, but like I don't know. Kid's only 5.
I know.
Fuck.
What is it about kids when they're playing with you too? You'll be laying on the couch, and no matter what, when they jump on you, they always have to hit you right in the balls.
Right in the nuts.
It's like, dude, why? It's like there's all these other places you could hit, and you hit me square in the nuts every
Get him,
time.
man.
For my kids, it's either the nuts or the neck. Like, and
Yeah, the neck is.
I don't know why. I have something about my neck. Like they always hit either like, I don't know. It's right where it actually freaking hurts.
No, it
I'm like,
does.
what the fuck.
Little punks, man.
Yeah, my kids get me in the back. And
Like I got a lot of meat on me.
Yeah.
Like you could.
You can bounce off me,
Yeah.
but
yeah, they get me in the back, and I've had, like I said,
Well,
I had
yeah, your back
I had a
issues.
broken back, and so they'll hit it, and I'm like, God damn.
I know, man. I just want to toss. I'm like, I just want to throw you through the wall right now.
Whatever hurts the most on you is what they get on you.
Right.
They do.
It's
It's
just
like the same spot every time. It's like, come on, man. Come on. Damn kids. Go ahead. Fill it up.
Can we talk bourbon for a second here?
Yes.
I'm really enjoying this Woodford.
You like it, huh?
I'm
I'm a big fan.
I haven't had standard Woodford in a long time. Very fortunate that we have quite a few selections, and I just haven't revisited standard Woodford in a long time, and I am really, really enjoying it.
Yeah, thank you for bringing this.
Yeah, no problem. It's a good time.
It's so Bourbon Heritage Month is coming out September 1st.
Yeah, it's coming up, man.
So we do this thing where we drink 30 bourbons in 30 days.
Damn.
And it's insane.
It sounds.
Last year was our first year, right?
Yeah, man. It was tough.
It was really difficult to do. I'm super excited about it this year, though.
I feel like it'll be better this year.
Right. Well, I think we know a little bit more what to expect.
It was tough though, man. Like it was every night. Ian would be like, "Hey, did you drink? Did you take your picture?" Because we had to take a picture of what we were drinking too. So it was like,
Wow. Do you buy it in bulk? Like, hey, I'm getting 30 of these different ones, or do you just?
so
day by
Ian's
day?
got a huge selection of bourbon. He's got a huge selection. So what he did last year for me, because I don't have a ton, he would fill up these little sample bottles, and like he would give me like a week's supply. Like he would send them over, and I would drink whatever he was drinking that night, and we would just take pictures and
Yeah.
post them. But yeah, I mean, he's got a shit ton, which you need to figure out where to put all that stuff.
Yeah.
My house is fine if you want. You'd want to put it in the storage unit.
Sure.
Put it on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
Oh, no way. No way.
Who wants to hold this for me?
I've been curating this collection for a long time.
It's pretty impressive. This new house has got to you got to figure out the bar situation.
How does the wife feel about all the bourbon?
She's good with it.
It was funny the one night we were
care.
down there hanging out, and she must not have been down there for a while because that was like Ian's space.
Mm-hmm.
She came down the one night. We're getting ready to do a bourbon review, and she walks down. She's like, "Oh my god!"
Sounds just like her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's like, "How much did this all cost?" He's like, "It's all like on sale. It's fine." Because all the wife's excuses when they buy something, it's
on
like
sale.
exactly. It was still $200, even though it was on sale.
I
Liz had something come today.
I saved 50, but you still spent 200.
But it was on sale.
So
It's the
I
excuse for
tried
everything.
I tried to get my my stash insured.
Didn't happen.
Not allowed to do that apparently.
Wow.
They laugh in your
Really?
face.
Yeah, because it's consumable.
I mean, that's quite a selection.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do if like it falls over in the moving truck?
Don't allow that to happen.
Well, I won't let it go in the moving truck first of all.
But you know what I'm saying though. Like, what if something happens in transport?
Surrounded
I've been
with
thinking about that a lot. So I've been trying to.
losing sleep over it.
So I have a couple totes, I think you call them,
I believe that's correct.
and I've got like all these like packing peanuts and like
Pillows, all the pillows from your bed.
T-shirts,
Blankets.
whatever. Like I've been trying to like. I mean, it's like 170 bottles that I have to like protect, and
That's a lot, man.
I know.
I love that you say protect.
Yeah.
It's got to be
I
protected.
mean, it's a big deal. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing with them, but I have to figure it out by like
Tomorrow.
yeah, basically. I mean Tuesday for sure.
Yeah. Good luck.
I don't know.
Maybe you should just get a big ass bouncy house. Have the dads bring the kids over, and then we got COVID going.
That's a
You
lot.
don't want COVID, yeah. Wear your mask.
Yeah, right. Wear your mask, it'll be fine.
It's a lot to consume. We'll be all right though.
Yeah, I don't
Alcohol
know.
kills
man.
everything.
I gotta figure it out. I'm a little bit nervous, but
You'll figure it out, man.
But yeah, Woodford Reserve. It's one of those. It's like that and Maker's Mark. Those are the two that I go back to whenever I get a chance to, and I'm like,
It's pretty damn good.
they're doing something right.
Dude, so I went to just a standard Maker's Mark at a wedding I was at
Like,
a
do
few
you
weeks
know
ago.
this shit at all?
Not yet, but I will now that you said
should.
something. But I had just standard Maker's Mark.
Yeah.
It was actually really. I mean, that was all they had to offer. But it was phenomenal, man. I drank it all
So
night.
good.
So felt great too.
Yeah.
I mean, my pores were like.
So here's the problem. So we do this show and we try and drink a different bourbon all the time.
That is a good nose.
We do we do some bourbon reviews, and so we've gotten a little bit snobby about it.
Maybe.
Tried not to.
Are you like Portnoy with the pizza?
No.
No. I mean, we're close.
No.
We're
We're
pretty
close.
close.
You
We're
getting there?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're getting
we're
there.
close.
We'll be.
We're on
be
our
there.
way.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, like you start to do that, and you start to notice different things and everything. I think it's inevitable if you drink that much.
Well, yeah, we've had a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
think about it.
But it's very nice, like, because there's so many different options out there that when you get to go back to something that, like, I should drink Woodford all the time, and I just haven't in the past couple of years, here and there. And this is
It's really good.
phenomenal.
It's really good.
I'm more of a if I'm doing stuff, I'm drinking beer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so like I like tasting all the different crazy beers.
Yeah.
Are you an IPA guy? Are you a
believe it's
porter
IPA.
guy?
I believe it's IPA.
I am not a porter guy.
Okay.
I will drink anything else.
Okay.
I don't like my beer being dark and tasting like coffee.
You don't want to chew
Okay.
your beer.
No.
It's not a meal.
But I want to chew my coffee. I like my coffee real dark. Is
Okay.
Is that weird or no?
No.
Is it like do you,
That's because that's coffee.
Right.
You want your beer a certain way. You want your coffee a certain
Right.
way.
So-
that's not weird. You're good.
I'm across the board, but it's like it's like music. Like you just don't like a certain type of music, right? But
Yeah.
you like everyone else. That's how porters are for me for beer.
Understandable.
You know what I mean?
We all got our things. I mean, so ever since moving on to bourbon, I've actually gotten away from beer a lot. I think maybe if I was at a bar like we used to do, like we used to go out, I'd probably just drink beer the whole time. Oh, maybe not though. I think I just like to get a pour of bourbon now. I don't know why. It's just something about it. I just rather drink bourbon now. Something like the way it makes me feel. Like if I drink a ton of beer now, I'm just so bloated, so full.
Oh yeah, and I'm huge into wines now.
Are you
Oh,
big into
really?
wines? I've never
tried. I tried real hard.
See, the thing with wine for me is I end up drinking it like it's a shot, and then next thing you know, I'm wasted and I have a pounding headache.
Well, for whatever reason, I don't get a pounding headache with wine.
No?
But that's a different feeling, man.
Wine drunk is way
wine-
different.
Absolutely.
It's a different feeling, and I'll have a glass or two a night, and I like it. My wife is trying to egg me on. She got like this gift card to this online thing called Wink, and so for my birthday, that was this past July, she got me $150. So I'm on here like you said, being snobby. I'm like, that's not good enough for me. Right?
Yeah.
That one's not good enough for me. So I just got another delivery today of my Wink wine, so I can't wait to hit that up this weekend.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think one of our buddies does. I think Jay does something like that. So I was in Vegas last year. So Liz and I went to Vegas and we went to Jay's house, and he's got a great selection of
That
alcohol.
dude's got a lot.
But his wine, his laundry room is just boxes of wine. I mean, he's getting deliveries constantly. It must be the same thing. He's just always getting all these deliveries. I mean, ridiculous amount of wine. But I mean, he likes wine, so I don't know.
So
I just haven't gotten there. My
I don't
wife
know,
loves
man.
wine.
I tried real. See, I think that's the problem is that Chelsea does not drink wine. She's just never been into wine. Like if she doesn't really drink a lot at all. But if she will, like I'll make her like a what are those called in the copper mugs?
Mule.
Mule,
Yeah.
yeah. She really enjoys that. So I'll make her a mule and she's happy. So I feel like if she would drink wine, I would probably drink it more because I like it, but since I usually drink alone, which is interesting to say out loud.
No, I'm the same way, man.
Which is interesting to say out loud. I just go to bourbon.
That's called being an alcoholic. This is actually an intervention.
All right. Well,
Steph,
cheers.
I can count on a number of, like on one hand how many times she's drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
Like since we've been together. We've been together since we were sophomores in high school. It's crazy that is.
Yeah.
And so I can count on one hand the number of times I've seen her drink. So it's funny because we'll go to a wedding and I'll start having a couple of beers. She goes, well, I guess I'm driving home. I go, I thought that was the deal.
Yeah, well, I assumed because you're not drinking.
15 years, nothing's changed.
I know what to expect here.
I go, if you want to have a beer or two, like I'll stop. You know what I mean? But yeah, so she doesn't like any of that stuff. And so I don't know. I just love it. I just dry wine, so I feel like it's more manly. And I can't do the stem cup. I got to have like the cup.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
So I got this Yeti.
I might like it better then.
I got the Yeti cup.
Oh, yeah.
The Yeti wine cup. So like it's not as
It's a little more manly.
I'm a big fan of Yeti.
I see you there.
Yeah.
So I feel good about it when I'm drinking it. I don't feel like I got the stem going.
Yeah, exactly.
No, listen, I like a good, dark, dry wine, red.
Sure.
Like, you know, they are really, really good.
What's that? We went to the balloon fest thing.
Oh,
What's that
dude,
called? Sangria?
Oh, my God. You ever go to the balloon fest at
Debonair.
I have not.
So it's a really cool thing. They do this like hot air balloon festival.
Excuse me.
I don't know. I don't know if
Big
they
party.
did it this year because
Probably
of
not.
fucking Corona or whatever. But so all these hot air balloons go out, and you just kind of sit on the lawn and see all these crazy hot air balloons go, and you just sit there and drink wine all day. It was really, really
big
good
party,
time.
man. It's a blast.
And our buddy used to be a winemaker there, and he's like, dude, whatever you do, just go get sangria. Like, it's the best bang for your buck. Like, you can drink it all day. Great. Okay, cool. And it's sweet. It's definitely not dry.
And it goes down
But
like
we would get the white sangria, and he would like pass us extra tickets, and we would just get pictures and pictures and pictures thrown to us. It was amazing. It was so good. So good.
that's a long day.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a while since we've done that, but that's a good time for sure. I haven't been to the wineries in a long time.
I've
good
never,
time.
to be honest with you, as much as I like wine, I've never been out to the wineries.
Oh, man, you
I've
should
never,
It's a blast,
no,
man.
I've
It's
never,
a lot of fun. I mean, you get some good. What's the one I really like is Laurentia. It's just a beautiful place, and you can go and you can sit on like they have this huge patio, and you can get some like appetizer foods or whatever.
It's fun, man. There's so many around there too, so it's like you just bounce around.
It's like
awesome.
it's like a McDonald's out there, man. Like
Yeah.
every
Yeah,
street corner
right.
there's a,
Yeah.
there's a
There's
winery.
so
It's awesome.
many. Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
And it's just nice. You just go spend the day, especially on a nice day. I like going in like the fall because again, I run hot, so
True
I like to
story.
go when it's a little cooler out.
Can't do anything though, man. These yellow jackets are a pain in the ass. I went to Patterson's the other day, so my wife was working, so I took the kids to Patterson's and I packed up the dinner. We had dinner there. And the whole time there's just yellow jackets flying all over the food. They're landing on the kids. I'm just sitting there swatting bees the whole time. What I'm gonna do next time I go out to one of those places with the kids is I have this fly swatter. It's a tennis racket. It has a little button on it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the zapper.
The zapper. I'm taking that fucking thing everywhere with me because I cannot stand yellow jackets. They're assholes, man. They're on your
They're the
food.
worst.
They're just like
I think it's like breeding season for
it is.
too,
So
right?
from now
Yeah.
This time
till
of the year is rough.
October, they're just a nightmare.
Yeah.
They're starting now.
Yeah.
Fuckers.
Yeah.
So it is time
What are we doing?
for a proud dad moment.
Oh, good call.
It is. I know it is. That's why I said it.
Steve's amazing.
Hold on. It is time.
Yeah.
It is definitely time.
definitely time.
Oh, yeah, it is. Ian, explain to him the proud dad moment, please.
All right. So one of the things that we like to do is make sure that our guest understands or thinks about something that they're really proud of. And so this could be something that your kids did, something that you did, something that your wife did, something that like made you proud to be in the position that you're at when it comes to being a dad. And the cool thing about that is like a lot of times as men, we take credit for things that we definitely do, and then we take credit for things that we didn't do, and we can all admit to that. But the reality is like there's things that the people in our lives do that really makes you proud to be part of that person, right? Whether you're the dad, the husband, whatever. It's a big deal, and I think when you reflect on that, it helps you kind of like reset.
Right.
And so it's been a really cool segment that we do. So I usually try and drag the explanation
So you can
long
think of
enough
something.
so that you can think about something. So you've had enough time.
Yeah,
now.
I think he's.
Can you
I
give
think he's
us
gone
some
pretty long.
context?
That was actually one of the longer explanations.
I did pretty good.
Give you some time to think.
Wow. So I guess I'll start off with this way. I got a couple that I know that I have, but I'll start out with this. Do you guys listen to music and everything? What's the band called? Blue October.
I'm not sure. No.
I'm actually not a big music guy.
So there's this band, Blue October. They were bigger back in the day, but they have this song called the what the heck's it called? Something List, right? So I'll listen to it. I'll throw them on Alexa. They have this one song called Worry List. It's called the Worry List.
Okay.
So he says in this song that I know that God exists. I held her in my arms. And he goes on to say that I never really understood I could be this powerful, right? So basically his God or his higher power is his kid, right? And so that's one of the things where I am a proud dad because that kind of humbles you, right? And so that's where I'll start off, right?
Okay.
But there's a couple different experiences that I had with my son, my oldest kid, and then my middle child that I've had so far. And my youngest child, I'll just start off and say, I already mentioned it. She survived something crazy.
Right.
And so I was, she's already fought. And so she's done something that she shouldn't have had to do at such a young age.
Yeah.
So my big proud moment or dad moment with my son, Theo, is he was at school one day, right? And we've always taught him to be nice to kids. He goes through karate, and that's part of what they say is like, hey, respect kids,
Right.
or respect the other people around you, and be humble. And so one day his cousin is playing on these monkey bars, or he's playing out in the playground during recess. His cousin falls off of this playground. Long story short, he ends up breaking some like collarbone or some bone, right? So my son, right, they have these aides there during recess. These aides weren't paying attention. They were on their phones, and no one noticed what happened. So my son doesn't pick up his cousin. His cousin's named Elijah. Doesn't pick him up, but he like gets him up, and him and this other kid just walk him to the nurse's station, right? So he's in first grade last year. He's got the wherewithal to say, hey, we got to go get some help.
Yeah, there's
and
a problem here.
these people over here aren't helping, right? That are supposed
So he's
to be
got to take it into his own hands.
He walks him to the nurse's station, and they say, oh, whoa, we got to call Elijah's mom, and he had to go to the hospital. I don't know who it was, but it was either the principal or like the teacher calls my wife and says, hey, Theo left an area he shouldn't have left. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me, right? And so they're trying to make it out to be like, hey, your son didn't do something he was supposed to do. And I'm like, he actually did exactly what he's supposed to do. And when people are in distress, right, go help them. And so that's something my wife has really instilled in him, is being respectful to other people. And when I sat back and thought about that, I was like, holy shit. He like gets it, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean, he understands it. And so
That's big.
right. And so
Well,
even
that's a huge concept.
right. And even though he's not supposed to do this, he knew like, hey, I gotta do something.
This supersedes.
Right? I gotta help this kid. I gotta help him. He's a family,
family,
member essentially. So I was extremely proud of him, and I set him aside. I said, listen, don't worry about what the teacher say or the principal says. Dad will handle that.
Yeah.
You did what you needed to do.
Right.
There's a time and a place for that. Like,
Right.
okay, yeah, I know that you're supposed to stay in your little zone here,
Right.
but that was big that he's like, okay, I got to break some rules here to go help my cousin out or just another kid in general.
Right.
this is a big problem.
And I don't think it was just because he was his cousin. I think it was just because
this is
he
another
was just
person,
a kid.
somebody in
He was
distress that he
yeah.
needed to help.
Right. And so him and some other kid, I don't know the other kid's name, went and helped him. And I just couldn't believe that the school was trying to turn it into like, hey, he was doing something he shouldn't do. I was like, screw you. Like,
yeah,
he
like,
did what he-
hey, your son did something awesome today. Your son helped somebody else out.
Yeah. And so when I sat back that night, I was like, Jesus, man, that's huge for somebody that's, at the time he was 6 years old to get it and understand it and not like stand there and go, you're hurt. And
Yeah,
like,
you're fine. You're fine. Keep
Right,
playing.
right.
That type of thing. And so,
Which, by the way, would have been totally acceptable behavior because he's
6 years old.
right?
Six.
You're like,
Absolutely. Because sometimes they don't really get
here,
it.
It's a teaching moment now. I got to tell you what
That's something that you instilled them.
But he got it.
Yeah, he figured it out, and it's like you taught him. You said like,
That's
or with
amazing.
karate too. That
Right.
that kind of stuff that's important. That's awesome, man.
right. And it's not about fighting. It's not about doing all that stuff. It's about respecting the people
Absolutely.
around
There's a
you.
bigger
So-
picture with karate, man. It's like teaching them discipline,
And he
teaching them what
knows
to
it.
do.
And the place he goes to is very good at doing that.
That's awesome.
And they understand that. So, and with my daughter, she's got this issue going on. She's got, I'm part of the problem in this situation. So there was this big hailstorm that happened about like, I don't know, it was it the beginning of when weather started to get nice? It might have been last year when the weather started to get bad. But anyways, in our development, we were at the playground. We saw this black cloud coming. And I'm like, oh, God, we should probably go, right? And we're in the middle of biking back. And all of a sudden, this hailstorm starts. And we're about, probably 45 seconds away from my house. And I look back, and my daughter's like, Dad. I'm like, come on, let's just run. I didn't realize she was like, the hail was nailing her, right? The hail's nailing her. She's sucking in all this water. And so all of a sudden, she gets like scared of the wind and the thunder and the rain. And again, part of it's because something I did. I didn't realize like, hey,
Right.
she's like really
Well, yeah, you
struggling
don't
with
think
this.
about something like
and
that.
I'm like, hey, just run. Let's go. Let's get back to the house. And so she's been dealing with this. And so she's been able to like put some things aside and like face her fears of this and going out. Like it used to be if she saw the tree on the just going back and forth, she couldn't go out. She couldn't do it. And she's a very shy girl. She doesn't like being around anybody except for mom and dad and her brother and her sister, right? And so she's been getting a little bit of help, but she's starting to come out of her shell. And the other day it was raining. Like I say, the other day, what was it, 10 days ago? It rained last, right? And so she runs outside and just starts boom in this puddle. She's like, I'm having so much fun. And I'm like, the wind is just blowing and going crazy and it's coming down. The thunder's going on over there. I'm like, dang,
That's
man.
awesome.
She's
That's a big moment.
Yeah, she's facing her fear.
Yeah.
And that was one of her big fears. And so I was extremely happy that she was able to do that. And I don't know that she's over the hump, but she was able to.
That's a big step though, man. That's
Yeah,
a huge
she-
moment for her.
Yeah, so I'm very proud of her in that situation.
That's awesome.
And so that made me happy that knowing that we're going, hey, we're doing the right thing. We're getting her some help. We're allowing her to do
Absolutely, and it's working too. So like
Yeah.
we've talked about this before, like
Yeah.
noticing that your child has something that's bothering them.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just being like, oh, it's probably fine.
They'll grow out of it.
They'll grow out of it, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Getting past that, that whole thing of just being like, oh, it's probably fine. And realizing that something's wrong, we need to get them
Right.
just help. Because, that's the most important thing. It's for them. For as much of a pain in the ass it might be for a parent to be like, okay, you have to go send them to a doctor or someone to talk to or just get them over this hump. To realize that as a parent, that's so big, man. I think it was like, was it Glenn Forbes?
Yep.
He's like, if there's something that you realize, just a thought, like you think there might be something with your child, just go get it taken care of.
Right.
Because instead of waiting and making things get worse or just, not getting any help, get it done, get it taken care of early.
Well, and
And
it's
then-
self-awareness about who you are and what you're able to help your child with.
Absolutely.
And understanding that there's things that maybe you can't, which is terrifying to think
It
of.
is.
I mean,
But as a parent, though, it's not
as-
that you can't fix everything.
Right.
Right.
But I
You
mean,
need
as
help.
dads, you think that you can do everything for your child. And
Yeah.
sometimes you just can't.
Yeah.
Right. And that was a big learning experience for me. Like, hey, I screwed up. Like, I should have ran and got her.
But you don't
scooped her
even.
up.
But that's something that's like not even. You're not thinking. You're running through rain.
Right.
Like we got to go. Let's
Yeah.
move. Just start running. Just
There's
run.
no
Just
way
like,
I
you're
would've
yelling at your
done
kid like,
anything
"Oh, come on, let's go. You're fine. You're fine. Let's go."
I'm
Move.
running and I'm getting farther away, and she's
Right.
like freaking out because now Dad's leaving. This is the guy that's supposed
Well, now
to
it's-
help me,
and it's scary.
And again, that was a huge learning experience for me. Like, hey, she's different than my son was all about it. Like, let's go, right?
Yeah.
And so your kids aren't the same.
They're all every
different,
single child's different for sure.
But good on you for understanding that. And it's Monday morning quarterbacking, but understanding after the fact that, like, hey, maybe I should have played things out a little bit differently.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Because, I mean, there's plenty of guys that wouldn't. And they'd be like,
You don't realize it in the moment.
right.
You know, you don't realize what it's doing
I
to
guess
them.
what I'm saying is it would be very easy to say, like, blame it on something else or whatever, but like you're taking the responsibility and saying maybe I should have done something differently, and here's what we're going to do to help her now.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's incredible.
Right. You know, and she's got other things going on with her. She got like I said, she gets very anxious going in public and meeting new people, and it's funny because my son is not like that, and in our group chat that we have at work, the group chat that we have.
Yeah,
right?
I know which one you're talking about. I call it the Fiki. I'll tell you that later.
All right. So I send out and I go, hey, one of our other coworkers is in it. So I mentioned her name that lives in our neighborhood. And I go, hey, there's kids just showing up to my house. And so our house is like the house to be.
Okay.
Because my son is very outgoing.
Yeah.
And so all it took was for him. Have you guys had the Giant Eagle Italian bread that they make?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So we had that. And so my son is just, there's this new kid that lives across the street. And he just goes out the door and he goes, hey, you want to come over and have some bread? and so the kid's like, yeah, man, I'll have some bread.
I mean, that's what I would say.
Hell yeah, it's bread. I'm in.
And so the kid comes in, and it was like feeding ducks. All of a sudden, his sister's in the house. I'm like, who are you? Right? And so my son is very outgoing, whereas my daughter's not. And it just goes to show you, like, hey, everyone's different. You got to treat them differently and do different things. And so, again, I counted them one day. There was 8 kids in my house. I'm like, oh, my God. And it's funny because I used to be very.
We don't have enough bread.
Yeah, honey, we need more bread.
Yeah, I was a huge introvert. I didn't like talking to people until I got like to high school, and so my wife was the more social one, and it's totally changed. It's flipped. I like going. I like going to talk to people, having a good time, and so like I don't mind that the kids come over to my house. It's expensive because they start sucking up all your juice.
Right.
But the thing is that like these kids are like creating chaos, and my wife's freaking out. Saying, hey, we got to clean everything.
Yeah,
and do all that. I'm
yeah.
like, they're 6. They don't care.
Right.
That's true. That is very true.
But yeah. And so dealing with her issue is been a big deal for us. And
Yeah.
so she's
Good
getting
on
over
you
it.
guys though for working on it and doing what needs to be done or at least getting on the path to doing that.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
Like because you just don't know. Like she's how old? 4.
She's 4.
Yeah. So like you have no idea, and I don't care that there's professionals out there that have a good idea, but they don't know exactly until they really dig in deep. And like good on you guys for giving them that opportunity and like helping her out because it's an easy thing to say, oh, she'll grow out of it or she'll be
Yeah,
fine.
because you can't fix everything. Like we with Ben, we knew like him missing the first 2 months of his life, like being basically in a coma. Like he was going to have developmental problems. Like he was going to be slower to catch on and do things. So like he doesn't really speak that well. And he doesn't really get it. He's only 2, but he goes through different, like we take him to speech therapy and things like that through the hospital. It's like something that's been going on since he's been home with us. But he's going to a special school. Like he'll be going to get speech therapy and things like that. Right. So, but that's something that they're helping us with. And they're telling us like, hey, he's not doing this. This is what you need to do at home. This is what you need to work on. Without that assistance, we would have no idea what the fuck we were doing.
Right. No doubt.
Right.
Like he would just be screwed. But like we were realizing this he's 2 years old and we're having it taken care of. He'll be fine. Yeah. But without that help, I don't know what the hell we would do. We would just be like, oh, he'll be fine. He'll be good to go here.
Or it would be like, well, he had problems when he was born.
Yeah, it was,
and like just always have that crutch or that excuse.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't want that to be a thing.
Want that,
no, I just want him to be a normal kid and just do what get him on the right path and get him his help that he needs. And
right.
Do it now while he's 2 years old, and then he'll be fine. They told us that was going to be an issue, but I mean he's already taking care of all the things. Like
well, I'm here to tell you though, like especially in my line of work, like there's plenty of parents that won't do that, and I don't know if it's out of pride or out of negligence.
I think it's a stigma thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well,
really do.
I don't want my kid to have to go
Yep.
talk to somebody.
Or they're autistic or whatever. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
But just get it taken care of.
I'm like, my kid's fine. Like, how dare you? And like, because we have to make recommendations, you know? And we say, look, like, we know what we're doing.
It's tough,
we
though.
have
Like,
a good relationship with different organizations, and we're very lucky, especially here in Northeast Ohio. We have some organizations that help. But there's parents that just won't.
Right.
And it's very, very frustrating because then, like, we've kind of tried to make this policy now where we say, look, we can't provide care for your child if you're not going to work with us here.
yeah.
And that's a terrible situation because, number one, it's not what's best for the kid. And then number two, like, you're now, like, I don't know. It's just awful because at the end of the day, it's not good for the kid. Right. And that's not what we're in business for, you know.
No.
So.
And that's tough for you guys because you have to make that recommendation. So you have to go approach a parent that you know what kind of reaction you may get. Like some parents will be like, okay, yeah, you're absolutely right. We'll try this. Or you're going to get negative feedback where they're like, wow, fuck you for even suggesting that there's something wrong with my child.
It's tough. And so, you know, the line of work I'm in too is that you start talking to parents about those things, and I've seen overreactions and I've seen underreactions.
Yeah.
And I've seen it all. And so the parents that overreact and get on you, you're like, this kid's going to struggle.
Yeah, like,
even as an adult.
But people need to realize too is that people aren't trying to be negative about it. This is trying to help their kid. That's what you have to realize as a parent. Like, okay, this is somebody that's trying to help, and yeah, it's not something that you want to hear ever. As a parent, like there might be something wrong with your child. Nobody wants to hear that.
Of course not.
But realizing that it is an issue, get it taken care of.
Well, and also realizing that nobody, or I shouldn't say nobody, no sane person gets joy out of telling you, like, hey, we need to work on something here.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, no one wants to have to tell you that.
No.
Like,
I want to be the bearer of bad news. I mean, even if it's not a big deal.
If we attack it head on and we do it together and we make a plan and we communicate about it, like, maybe we give your kid a better shot.
Absolutely.
At doing what they need to do.
Get it nip it in the butt real quick and just get it taken care of. Absolutely.
But it's tough. I mean, again, it's hard for me sometimes because I've been so fortunate. And I constantly have to remind myself that, like, both my kids are just, they talk nonstop and they're outgoing and they're assertive and I'm so freaking lucky. But I don't know what's going to happen later too. You know what I mean? Like, so I try and remember that, like, yes, they've been great, but you know, you just don't know.
Yeah.
Right. Well, traumatic events alter certain things.
Yeah. Anything could happen any day.
Right.
Like same thing when I was little. I was the same thing. I was very shy. I didn't want to talk to anybody. You know, I always had my hands in my pockets, looking at the ground, you know.
Sure.
But then, like, at a certain point, I just changed, and all of a sudden, I was like, couldn't shut me up. You know, I was talking to everybody. You know, kids change. They go through different times, and sometimes it's like, you don't need to worry. Sometimes you may overreact. Sometimes you might think, oh, there's something wrong with my son or my daughter.
Right.
They're not doing what I think they should be doing. There's something wrong with them, but they're probably perfectly fine.
At one point, at 12 years old, I changed the way I approach things. And so this was weird, right? I'd be at family events, and it would take me about an hour and a half to even come out of the car. That's how shy I was. Yeah. And like, I felt like I was having a heart attack when my parents would try to pull me out of the car, and they didn't understand that at the time because that wasn't a thing back in like 1990. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, there wasn't like autism. There wasn't all this other stuff.
Yeah, these kids having anxiety that you don't even realize.
Yeah, and so I don't know what it was. I couldn't tell you what it was, but I just didn't want to go out of the car. And like, I would feel my heart start beating. My parents would try to be like, "Hey, you want to go out of the car?" I'm like, and my heart would start beating. I'm like, no, I'm gonna chill out here.
Yeah.
Hour and a half later, I'd show up at the family event, roll in, and say, and people would try to talk to me. I'm like, all right, I'll talk to you.
Yeah, no.
All of a sudden, we're sitting around a campfire. We have these family reunions. They used to be every year. Until my grandparents passed away. Now they're every other year because we've got family all over the place. And so we go to these family reunions at these campsites. But when I was 12, I'm sitting at this family reunion at the campfire, and all of a sudden I just start talking. I'm like, I'm doing it, right? I just start talking, and all my cousins are like, what the hell is this?
Who's this guy?
This guy talks. Right?
Yeah. And then he couldn't shut you up.
Now here I am. you know, and I consider myself a more social person.
What changed though?
I don't know.
So you know what's funny about that whole thing?
I don't.
There was a point in my life, so like I would have sleepovers at my neighbor's house, Nick Fatika's house. And all of a sudden I don't even know how old I was, but there was one night I slept over there and I had this like thing where I couldn't fall asleep no matter what. And the other people that were sleeping over there, everybody was passed out and it was like 3 a.m. and I could not fall asleep. And all of a sudden like I started getting this anxiety. Like if I don't fall asleep, there's something wrong. And then I couldn't fall asleep. It would be like 6 a.m. I'm still wide awake. And this continued for years, like where I couldn't sleep over anybody's houses. I had like this anxiety, like I couldn't do it. I couldn't sleep at a friend's house, couldn't sleep anywhere but at home. And then it was like around 12 years old. I think it was like 6th grade or something like that. All of a sudden, everything just changed. I was completely different person. No reason. I was all of a sudden like just fine. I was okay. And same thing. Like I became very social, and it was like a switch, just like that. And I don't know what it was. But it was the same type of thing, though. Like, I reached a certain age, and all of a sudden I was like, boom, I'm out of my shell, and I'm just, here I am. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think for me, I wasn't heavily bullied, but I was bullied as a young kid. I was blessed with this birthmark on my face, so it wasn't easy growing up. And so, like, I got a lot of flack for it, and people would be like, what the hell's wrong with this kid, right? And so, I was not as ready to meet people because of it. I was very uncomfortable, and all of a sudden I just don't care anymore. Like, you know what I mean? And I don't know. 12 years old. I don't know why that was the benchmark of the age of why I was done with it. And so, and it's funny because people will make comments to this day, and now I've understood that I've got to be funny about it, right?
Yeah.
So one day this lady's at Giant Eagle, and she goes, this is a quote verbatim. She goes, "What the hell's wrong with your face?" And I go, "Lady, I was born with it." And I go, "I don't know about that 300 pounds, though. I don't think you were born with that." And so she was like, "How dare you?" And I'm like, I mean, come on.
You started a bitch.
Right, absolutely. So, like, I've started to be able to develop comebacks and stuff like that, but no one really says anything. And I think society in itself has become more understanding about things, right? And so you start talking about mental health. You start talking about people with disabilities,
right?
And so it's not as a, hey, that person's weird anymore. And so I haven't heard a comment in like 10 years now.
Yeah.
And so even if I do, it's from kids, right? Because you mentioned kids are the most honest people,
right?
Yeah.
They're like, "Hey, what do you got?" I'm like, I was just born with it. Sucks.
Yeah, I mean, but you embrace it now, and it's like, oh, it's whatever, you know. Yeah. That's funny though. I was worry about that now with Ben, like his scars. The kid's got scars. His whole entire front of his body is just scars. I mean, the kid looks like he has 4 belly buttons. He's got this huge scar down his chest. He's got scar on his neck, his back, everything. I'm like, I worry about him getting older and kids being just brutal about it, like just saying things or something. But I want to raise him to where he's proud of his scars. Just like make it be like, dude, I'm a badass, you know. Like I always tell my kids too.
Battle wounds, dude.
That's what I say. I'm like, dude, I always want to tell them always like, hey man, you cheated death multiple times.
Yeah,
you're a badass. I just want him to realize that, hey man, those scars are awesome.
I feel like he will.
I want him to embrace it
because he's very much like he doesn't really give a shit what anyone else thinks.
No, especially
or says.
No.
I mean, at 2 years old.
2 years old, he's a fucking.
You know what I mean?
Like,
I feel like he's going to be okay on that front. You know
he's a hard-headed kid, man. He's just like
he doesn't need anybody's approval. In fact, he like shies somebody's approval away. He's going to do his thing.
Yep.
Which I think is great.
I hope that sticks with him because you're right though. The kid is just a hellion. Like he's just a little hard ass about everything. Which is tough on me and Liz because he doesn't listen to shit. Like, I mean, I could tell him to do something, he'll just turn around and be like,
no,
yeah, cool, good one.
Great.
But whatever, he deserves that. I'll give it to him for now.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, so last thing we need to touch on.
Yeah,
a dad hack. You know what a dad hack is?
Yes.
All right, do you have one?
You do. I like it.
I mean, it's not really a special dad hack.
Everyone says that.
Everybody does.
But I don't know if people mention this on there, but I got a secret number I call when the kids are being bad. And if my kids hear this, they're going to be like upset. My dad in my phone is marked as Santa Claus.
Oh, okay.
So when they start acting up, I go, hey, I'm calling Santa Claus. So I got to send my mom, because my dad doesn't check text. He's at the age where text is not a thing.
Yeah.
I go, hey, I'm calling Santa. And my mom will be like, all right. And then I'll call Santa. And then my dad knows to play Santa. And he'll be like, ho, 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 ho.
That is genius.
That is phenomenal.
Is this Theo? Is this Evie? I heard you weren't being nice. So
Genius.
Hit that button, bro.
anytime, and I got the
Dad hack.
and I got the picture that goes up.
Oh yeah.
As Santa when I
That's
call.
amazing.
So good.
But then I gotta hide it when I'm calling him for real.
Right.
So I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
And I'm like, turn the phone over. I'll call him. Turn the phone over. You know what I mean? So
Why are you talking to Santa like that, Dad?
So
No.
So normally I don't call my dad because my dad never answers the phone. So I normally call my mom, so it's not an issue. So
Yeah.
my dad knows when I'm calling him, it's
He's Santa Claus. That's amazing.
That's
I love that.
Actually,
I might have to
it's
use
not
that.
been brought up
No?
on the show. So that's really
Good on you,
really
man.
good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it works like a
I like
charm
that.
every time. But I also play Santa Claus, and my son has noticed that I'm Santa,
Ooh.
and I got him convinced that I'm an employee.
That's another dad hack. I'm sorry.
Dude,
an employee.
for years, so Chelsea's family, big Irish family, they did this whole Christmas thing. They love Christmas. And actually before I met her, I was like a Grinch type. Like I was like, yeah, whatever. Like it just wasn't that important in my family. Now I freaking love it.
Yeah.
So she's converted me. But for the longest time, I played Santa for all of her cousins and all those. I mean, there's so many freaking kids in her family. It's hilarious. But now that my kids, I think last year was the first year I was like, dude, I can't do it. Like Gibbs is gonna know, and
John.
I don't want to do it.
I don't even worry about it.
But so wait, your son knows now, or you're just convinced?
Oh, so I haven't always had the beard. So since I've grown this out, it kind of shows under my thing, right? And so I got the belly, I got everything going on, and I tried to change the voice. And so he goes, Dad, I know you're Santa. I saw the beard. And I go, shit. Right? So I'm thinking, what do I say?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Quick decision.
He knows I'm Santa. He knows my voice. And so I'm like, you know what? You're right. Santa's got so many places to go. I go, he hired me back in the day to help him out.
Yeah.
And so I'm official, right? And so I'm official Santa for him. I'm not the real Santa that shows up at the house, but he's given me the ability to be Santa for people. And he goes, oh, that's cool.
Because that could go a number of ways. So
Right.
that's awesome.
So I mean, it didn't give him the ability to believe that Santa's not real.
Yeah.
It's
That's
just saying,
tough,
hey,
man.
listen, Santa pays people.
Yeah, because I mean, they figure shit out, man.
Yeah, oh yeah.
My niece was asking, I think it was last year, so she's 9 now. So she was 8. Kids at school were telling her that Santa wasn't real. So that conversation came home, and she's asking my sister-in-law, my brother about it, and they're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this is already happening." So she's still she's skeptical. Well, that's what happens when you send them to school. Like these kids, the conversation starts, and it's tough. You never know when that's going to happen. And just the whole thing with Christmas is just amazing with kids. Like, I love Christmas so much. I've always loved Christmas, but now with the kids, man, nothing better than that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's amazing.
Last year was my first normal Christmas in a long time, so it was pretty awesome.
That's right.
So
First Christmas in a while you weren't at the hospital.
yeah, dude.
This dude for like 5 years in a row.
It's so miserable. Sam was sick, then Ben,
Oh God.
Ben had I can't remember. Was that hand, foot, and mouth when he was there? No. Yeah, maybe it was.
That's the worst, by the way.
Might have been. Oh, it's the worst.
And he had it like,
dude, that poor kid.
I'll show you pictures of it, man. It was a nightmare. And Christmas we had I was there till 5 in the morning. I woke up and it was crazy because I fell asleep with him in his bed with him. And then I woke up and there's like Christmas lights in the room. There's a tree in there. There's presents all around. I'm like, holy shit, this is at Rainbows. I'm like, this is amazing. Like Santa came and decorated his room while I was sleeping. So anyway, I wake up at like 5 and I go home so I could have Christmas with Sam because I have to get home before he wakes up so I could wake up and have a normal Christmas with him. And then we load him up in his new toys and we take him back to the hospital with Ben, and then we have Christmas there with Ben, and it was like, dude, that was
Jeez.
it was miserable, but we made it work. And it was
Dude, you
awesome.
guys did a good job.
It was,
though,
it was
'cause-
fantastic. It actually ended up being great, but it was like a lot of back and forth.
yeah.
Thank God we lived so close to.
And then your neck that one year.
Oh my God, dude.
Dude.
I got to hear it.
Dude.
Oh my God, I woke up. This is before kids, so I woke up and it was Christmas Eve. I had like this
It's what,
pain.
2013, 2014,
Probably, yeah,
somewhere in there?
around there, yeah. And I woke up and I'm like, okay, so I had this pain and like I had my neck is like this bump in my neck, and I'm like, oh, it's like a swollen gland or something. I'm just gonna go get some antibiotics and I'll be fine. I go to the doctor, they're like, oh yeah, you got a swollen gland, we'll give you some antibiotics, you're sick. So Christmas morning I wake up and I look at Liz, I go, I can't, it hurts when I swallow, it's hard to like breathe because my esophagus is closing. I go, how does it look? She's like, oh my God, dude, it looked like there was a softball sticking out of my neck.
Jesus.
Like out to here. So I'm like, I have to go to the hospital. So I drive to the
This is like
hospital.
my favorite story.
And
ever.
I get there and I'm like, I'm sorry, hold on, let me change this real quick. So I get to the hospital and I have like a hoodie and like my jacket, it's like up like this. And I'm like, hey, so I have, they're like, so what's the issue? I'm like, well, I have my neck is swollen. They're like, well, let's see it. So I pull my shirt down and I show them and they're like, oh my God. They start calling, like they hit like an alarm. Like there's an alarm going off. People
They're
rush
calling
out. They throw
people
me
in on Christmas
Yeah,
Day.
I mean, the people are like rushing in there. They throw me back there.
Code red.
Literally. Like 30 different doctors come in. They're like, you got to see this. They're like coming in. People are looking at it like, oh my God. Like, I'm like, what the fuck is
They're just
happening?
throwing up.
Basically, I looked insane, man. And there's like a head growing out of my neck. And so they take care of me. I get all this stuff done, man. And shoot me up with like steroids and everything. Send me home. Have Christmas. And then later that night, I have to go with my family. And we're eating dinner. And I have like my hoodie on. And I'm like sitting like this. And I'm like, what's going on with you? I'm like, well, I have this issue I had, I'm sick or whatever. So let's see it. So I pull my shirt down and everybody just starts basically throwing up on themselves. It was so disgusting, man.
You should have just told him, like, listen, I'm embarrassed. Liz gave me hickeys.
Yeah.
I
I should have known that. I didn't want to ruin everybody's dinner. But what it was I had like a salivary gland infection. So like it was like
Jesus.
blocked. And it was like this calcium deposit build up and like, so I couldn't get any saliva working. So the main cure to the whole thing was I had to go to the store and get sour candy and just suck on sour candy to get the cell. Like the,
You got a bunch of the
salivary.
warheads, right?
Yeah, I got warheads, man. I had like the sour Skittles. But the worst part is, so since I wasn't producing saliva, this side of my tongue was like raw. Like it just like, it hurt like hell. So like every time I'm getting sour candy, it just like felt like my tongue was on fire and it was miserable. So that was a fun Christmas.
Dude,
I had good times, man.
body, like, going back to the women, man. Bodies
Yeah.
are weird, man.
Weird, man, right?
Think about a woman in pregnancy, like their organs are just being pushed around to like just
Oh, that's your kidney is going over there now.
that's just move over to
or
the
your
side.
fucking neck.
That's basically like pregnancy. So I don't even want to hear it, ladies.
That's what I'm saying.
It's terrible, man. I got all kinds of stories about Christmas, but anyway.
Oh man.
But yes, anyway, back to everything. Thank you for coming on, man. Thanks for joining us.
It was a
tonight.
good time.
Thanks for bringing the
Right.
bourbon, which was phenomenal. Thanks for sharing everything with us. It was a good time.
I had a
Some
great
really
time.
good dad hacks, really good proud dad.
Hell yeah, man.
moments.
Yeah, well, thank you very much.
Yeah, that
Solid
was fun.
show.
Yes, for sure.
Bourbon Heritage Month is
A few weeks away.
well.
You're trying to get me in.
when
huh?
this comes on,
week away.
comes out, it'll be like in it.
Yeah. So
So make sure you are tagging us in your pictures.
drink your bourbon.
Drink your bourbon. Make sure you join our little game.
Mm-hmm.
And then also subscribe to the podcast. Make sure you like and share all of our shit. What else you got?
That's it, man. I think you covered
That's
it.
it?
Check out the website.
Oh, yeah.
Get some, pick up a shirt, get a hat.
Yeah,
You know,
we got that
usual.
shop. Yeah,
Check us out.
Good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, as always.
Z, thanks for coming on, dude. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks
Yes.
for having me.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
We'll do it again.
Good time.
absolutely. You come
yeah,
back.
This was a really good time.
Come back. Tell some more
Um,
Santa stories. Come dressed as Santa if you don't
You
mind.
should come dressed as Santa.
I will. You want to do one in December?
We're in.
Let's do it.
I'll do a Santa one.
I like
that.
it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's good.
It's gonna be hard to drink the bourbon with the beer going.
Just pull down.
No, won't be hard.
I can't. I'm in character.
figure
I
it
can't
out.
do it.
Sorry. I just didn't want to say it tonight. All right. I got it. We're good to go.
All right.
It's official.
Yeah, this is a fantastic episode. Thanks for so much for coming on. Yeah, that's all we got, right?
Yep. So thank you, as always.
Raise good humans.
Peace. See you next time. Hey, guys, if you love what you just heard or watched, and we know you did, do us a solid and hit that thumbs up. Share with your friends and throw us a comment, literally about anything. Your support legit keeps us going. Oh, and don't forget to give us that 5-star rating. We really appreciate you.